I love you with all my heart. Today's podcast is Godfrey Danchimah.
This is Bertcast.
Hey,
All right.
what's up?
I think our
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Hello. Talking yours?
Hello.
Oh yeah, yours is way hot. Okay, perfect.
Yo.
Yeah, Chad's great. I just worked with him in
Yeah.
in
Nebraska? No.
Nebraska. Yeah.
And they were like, because, I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska.
I didn't know that.
Born in Lincoln.
Wait, I did know that.
I was born in Nebraska. My father went to school there. Now it's called Midwestern University, but it was Dana College.
What's so funny is I was so narcissistic as a young comic that I never really like. It's like you know people and you hear their story, and part of you is like, yeah. How does that apply to me? How does that help me? Like, not in this, but I'm just being real.
I hope. Oh, you get to be real on this podcast?
Yeah, this is sadly too real. I've been so real on this podcast. Yeah, I've said things on this podcast, and I think due to this and Rogan and the dialogue I've had with the fans is so fucking bizarrely, oddly, yeah. Well, it's just very vulnerable. It's like sometimes people go, just tell a story about Isla, the little kid you met out there. Because she's so fucking weird, She's like the youngest one, not the blonde.
Strange?
Oh, dude.
That's your daughter?
Yeah. I was reading her Mitch Hedberg jokes the other day, and she was fucking howling laughing, and she got them. And I was like, you're 10, you're not.
She's a genius.
She's not smart. I wouldn't say smart's the word.
She's not smart? Are we on right now?
Yeah, we're on. But yeah, it's so funny. And I think the more I've grown.
Yeah.
And gotten older and seen the world. Because I didn't, when I met you, I'd just been to Tallahassee, Tampa, and New York.
Florida State University, Party Animal of the Year or some shit in Rolling Stone. Right. You got.
Yeah.
I remember. You would pour beers on your fucking head. And
do you remember that little plant? There was a little planter right outside the bag at a little iron planter with a tree.
Yep.
And I remember you were standing up and down, standing up on it and then coming down. Yeah. And I remember you gave me a speech. You were like, figure out who the fuck you are, and you're like, you were like, you're funny, but you just are all over the place. And I was all over the place. I was trying to do set up punch,
right? But
my real natural angle was what you, Bobby Kelly,
right?
That kind of real conversational. What we now know to be.
Now we're conversational guys, but also when I said that to you, I don't even remember. It's amazing how people remember shit. I had to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because, I remember when we would all audition for Montreal, and I didn't get in right away. It was tough.
I never passed one of those auditions.
I remember they would say, well, he's funny, but what is his angle, whatever. And all that shit makes you mad. You go, well, you brought that bum in. That bum is in.
Fucking what's your angle? Cool.
What's your angle? And then I got in. Because I had been invited to Montreal. I did New Faces with Mitch Hedberg. That's ironic.
Did you really?
It was me and Mitch Hedberg were the last guys on the show, and it was a fucking horrible show. And I got up. I was the second to last. I got up. Mitch Hedberg introduces himself to me. He goes, hey, man, what's your name? I said, oh, Godfrey, man. He said, my name's Mitch Hedberg. You know how he talked?
Yeah.
I was like, what's up, man? He's like, we're the last two dudes. And people were coming back because it was at this place called the Comedy Nest in Montreal.
Oh, yeah, the Comedy Nest,
New Faces was the worst showcase because it was all industry. Nobody really laughed. And some of us were seasoned and a lot of us weren't. I wasn't really seasoned. I was coming from Chicago 3-4 years in. So, people were coming backstage like they were coming from a war. Everyone was like, the crowd is tough, man. They're not giving it up, bro.
Yeah.
So I get up there, and I have a decent set. I'm used to murdering, but I had a decent set. I was okay.
Now, what year is this?
This is 97.
Okay. Oh, wow. So that's right before I met you.
Yeah. And so I'm green, and I'm using personality in my whack-ass jokes or whatever, and I had I got something out of them. And I was like, I'm used to kind of killing, but I got an average set. And then Mitch went up and destroyed that bitch. He was so good. Yeah. Oh, I was like, wow. He put his head down, had his hair over his head.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know you're wondering, da 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 da, and just killing. I said, that was dope.
Yeah.
And that was the legend of Mitch Hedberg. I got to see that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
that's cool. By the way, that's so cool that you appreciate that. There's so many comics that are so self-centered that they like. I always tell people I came at comedy as a fan first.
Yeah.
Like I didn't come at comedy as like a like I got a new angle on this. I came at it and like it was just getting in the backs of the boss.
Yeah, man.
So are you. Do you want me to tell you a Godfrey story that you remember? I remember you sitting in the back.
Yeah.
And you were roommates with Mike Epps.
Damn right, in Queens, New York, Long Island City.
And Dave Chapelle came in, and you and Epps were in the back, and you guys were calling out jokes you wanted him to tell.
That's right.
You were like, Aquaman.
You remember?
That was so good.
We were calling out different jokes. Do this joke. Do that joke. And Chappelle would be like, what do you think about that one? I'm like, that's cool. Keep going with that.
Yeah.
Here's funny. Here's what's funny. You know, me and Chappelle fell out at one time.
Okay.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what happened, for those of you who don't know, is someone broke into Chappelle's car.
Someone broke into Chappelle's car. And I remember Chappelle was in the cellar at the bar. And I come up to Chappelle. I said, what's up, man? He goes, nothing, man. He goes, man, someone broke into my car, man. I'm like, oh, yeah? Okay. What the fuck? Really? He goes, and I think it was you. You, motherfucker, you did it. I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I thought he was joking with me. I was like, you broke into my car. You and Artie Fuqua broke into my car. And I sat there and I said, the fuck are you talking about? Like, I laughed. I was like, why would I break? I mean, you should know me by now. I was raised by a great parents. I don't steal people's shit.
You were raised by intellectuals.
Damn right. And he was too. And he blames me.
You guys are so similar in so many ways. And that's one of the things that as we start this podcast, I say to you, I wish I had listened. I would hear you talk about your parents. Your parents were Nigerian.
Yeah, they were
Came
Nigerians.
over and started teaching.
My father studied to be a teacher in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, went to Dana University, Dana College, and then we moved to Chicago. That's why I was raised in Chicago. I was born there. My sister was born in Nigeria. My mother became a nurse in Chicago, an amazing nurse because she trained some of my friends, which was very weird, to be nurses. And I went to Catholic school, 12 years, went to Catholic school. Went to University of Illinois, psych major, got a degree in psychology.
Another sidebar to you is you and Rogan have similar backgrounds in martial arts. You were into Hapkido.
Yeah, I did Hapkido for like 10 years. Like Joe, which he's made an amazing career out of. He's like a UFC guy. He was a competitor. Yeah. I just studied martial arts in New York because I thought, just in case someone attacks me. But martial arts, any guy usually wants to learn karate from growing up from watching Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris, Steven Seagal.
I didn't realize how big that was in black culture until I hung out with Patrice.
See,
Patrice was obsessed.
Let me tell you about. I have a brand new kung fu bit right now, and I explain it because I connected to a Donald Trump bit about how he's going to deal with China because I'm trying to learn Mandarin. I want to learn it. It's hard, but I want to learn it. But I say a lot of my Chinese is fake because it comes from kung fu movies. And it's because kung fu is usually spoken in Cantonese. It's usually Cantonese is what you're hearing.
Really?
Yeah, when they're like sound like I know something, right?
Yeah.
I didn't say shit. It's
in a parallel universe, there's two Chinese guys doing a podcast going, ha ha ha. That's black guy, right?
Right. Most black men, and I say it in this joke, it's a brand new joke. Most black men know about kung fu movies. We're very, very we're very knowledgeable about kung fu movies. You know about the Shaw Brothers?
Yeah.
There's the Shaw Brothers. There's Raymond Chow, who created Golden Harvest with Sammo Hung. If you know who Sammo Hung is, he's in the first scene of Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee when they're fighting in those boxing gloves and those underwear.
Yeah.
That's Sammo Hung. Sammo Hung is a major producer of a lot of these movies. He's a heavy-set Asian guy. He's always been heavy-set,
Yeah.
And from Bruce Lee to Sonny Chiba, Street Fighter from the 60s, Sonny Chiba. Then you have Five Deadly Venoms, Kid with the Golden Arm, Flying Guillotine. You have Iron Monkey, Drunken Master 1 and 2. You have Shaolin versus Lama. You have Master Killer with Gordon Liu. I can keep going.
Yeah.
And so for some reason in my neighborhood, where I grew up in Chicago on the north side, shout out to the Cubs because I grew up around Wrigley Field. I grew up around a mixture of kids, right? Mainly immigrants like African, Russian, Polish, Korean, Cambodian,
Really?
Vietnamese. Oh yeah, my neighbors were Cambodian. It was all. It's an area in Chicago called Uptown. It's the most integrated area in Chicago because Chicago is the most segregated city in the country.
I knew that.
Martin Luther King. There's a footage of Martin Luther King saying, "Chicago's fucked up," and I'm from Alabama. Because he was like, I've never been to a place that had more hatred in my life. And motherfucker, I'm from Alabama. Martin Luther King got hit with a brick in Chicago.
Are you serious?
Yeah. You know, in Alabama, they spit on him. They hit him with a brick in Chicago. You feel me? So I grew up around everything in Chicago. Everything. So, but we were into kung fu movies. The black dudes were, because my mother used to let us go to, me and my brother, we would go downtown, Staten Lake. And we would go to the all Chinese kung fu theater. It was a kung fu. It was a theater with just kung fu movies for $3. You could watch as many as you wanted.
Older brother?
My younger brother, Daniel.
Are you the oldest?
My sister, Juliana. She's in Texas, nurse, 3 kids, husband. He's whack. But anyway, I didn't mean to throw that in there. But yeah, so we would watch kung fu movies. So we always knew kung fu movies. For some reason, black dudes, it was like, that's why Wu-Tang Clan was formed. You notice Wu-Tang? Wu-Tang is the greatest rap group in history. Till this day, people wear Wu-Tang shit. They want Wu-Tang gear. It's the most brilliant concept. You take hip-hop and fucking kung fu, and you think about the Wu-Tang Clan, you think about Old Dirty Bastard was like a drunken style. Yeah. Right? Raekwon was like more of a hefty style. You had Method Man was more like a samurai because his shit was so slick and so fucking precise. Yeah. Right? You had RZA who had his style. So it was like kung fu styles. Ghostface Killer was a different style of hip hop, but they matched it with martial arts. That's the most brilliant shit, I think, in music to me. Was the Wu-Tang Clan.
Ghostface did the Cuban Links.
Ghostface and Raekwon. They were together with Cuban Links. Fuck yeah, they're one of the greatest duos ever, man.
Man, I got introduced to that. I used to drive girls across campus or walk them mostly. Oh yeah, unless they requested a car, and if they requested a car, they're always black.
And they were always black girls.
Only black girls requested cars.
You would just walk black girls?
No, I walked white girls. Black chicks wanted to ride. They always wanted to ride. They didn't want someone to walk. They weren't scared. They wanted a car. They wanted a car.
They're not scared. White women are scared.
White women wanted an escort.
They want an escort.
The black chicks were like, it would every fucking time. They'd be like, we got a call at the Sally Hall, 111. That was my number.
It's Florida State?
Yeah, Florida State. And I go, sure thing. They go, they've requested the car. So I'd pick up the car. I'd drive over and they go, Brent Bracken would go every time. They say there's only one of them, but they requested the car, so I'd imagine there'll be 8. Right. And we pull up, and it'd be one black chick waiting
to get a ride.
She'd see me. She goes, "He's here!" And 8 black chicks would pile into the car.
Oh, that's how they.
Yeah. And so then they'd go drive us to FAMU because I always wanted to go to a FAMU party.
FAMU is the shit. That's the black university.
We weren't allowed to go, but I don't know, man. I've always had a thing for black chicks, meaning like. I've always just
a white man that always secretly had a thing for black chicks. Oh, that's new. You love black girls.
I've always.
Well, they're amazing.
In like a real sistery, like conversational way. Like never dated a black chick, but just loved. I don't know. They're just real. My wife's like a black chick. I always say the joke I used to make is
she has a big ass.
You want to feel better? Ask a white chick. If you want the truth, ask a black chick.
That's right. And it's like Hollywood.
These girls sat in the back one time. They were all from New York. That's how Florida State worked. If you were African American and lived in Florida, you could go to FAMU and cheap. But if you were out of state, you could get funding at Florida State.
Oh wow!
And so you could go to Florida State, get a good education, same. And these girls, one time I was driving to FAMU.
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you listening to? When I was from the South, we always listened to booty music. That was our hip hop.
Right.
That and Outkast. And they were like, you should check out Method Man.
Whew.
And I was in the car. I was probably 21, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I was bought Wu-Tang Clan, bought Method Man. And I did not get Method Man.
Of course.
Until me and my buddy Mike Osborne got high. And
you got him?
He just started going remember me?
I'm in the pain hardcore for the brain.
Yeah.
That's the most amazing breathing technique. It's sick.
And we got into it. We started going back and forth, rapping Method Man lyrics the way you would like a Dave Attell album. You know how like Attell's first album, Skanks for Memories, that became like vernacular with you and your friends,
right?
Or Chappelle, when Chappelle would make a joke and you'd go like, he'd be like, pimps can always be like, bitch, go down and start my car. and me and my friends would do that, bitch, go down and start my car. But and I fell in love with Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the you and Chappelle beef, because I do remember that going down.
Right.
Not to get off of, I want to talk about your family. I want to talk about Chicago. I want to talk about how you came into doing stand-up the way you do it. But I remember that distinctly.
That shit, okay. And so I went.
Because Patrice was around at the time.
Patrice was around. Keith Robinson, Wanda Sykes Hall was around. Remember when Wanda Sykes was married?
Yes.
She was
the HBO executive.
Yeah. And so I go, you fuckers broke into my car and you better stay the fuck away from me. So he goes downstairs. I come outside like, what the fuck is going on? And so Artie Fuqua, I see Artie, because I hung out with Artie.
The sweetest guy
in the world. And I hung out with him. I hung out with him every day for 10 fucking years.
You and Artie were like brothers. Well, legit brothers.
But why do you think Louis put us on his first season, me and him?
Yeah.
First season, it's me and Artie taking Louis to the fucking club.
Yeah.
Because Louis very observant about comics. He knew we were the guys that went out, got a lot of girls, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Went to the clubs, knew everybody. So I tell Artie, I say, Artie, guess what? He goes, what? Chappelle, someone broke into his car and he blamed both of us. He said it was both of us, man. He said he goes, what? So Artie, people don't understand. Artie has a fucking temper. He has, man, if you've never seen it, I've seen Artie talk shit to cops, man. Literally, there was a cop that said, let me see your ID. Artie's like, you ain't getting shit. He's like, I don't need to give you my ID. I haven't done shit, so you can fucking leave me alone because I ain't giving you shit. I was like, Artie's a bad motherfucker, dude. So I tell Artie goes, where is he? And so I guess Chappelle was over at the Boston Comedy Club. Yeah. He went downstairs, but he was at the Boston. So Artie walks up. Artie walks real fast. Artie goes,
Artie walks real fast and just fucking bouncy.
Artie goes, yo, Dave, what's up, man? What's up? So Keith Robinson, Wanda Sykes outside of Boston. Chappelle's like, yo, you guys broke into my shit. You better watch your back. And Artie said, listen, man, let me tell you something. I don't think you know who the fuck you dealing with. He's like, yo, I don't give a fuck, man. I'm from Jersey City, my man. I said, I got the craziest I got dudes all around this area, man. You need to watch your fucking back. I don't care about your movies and all that shit. Don't fucking insult me like that. Because, Artie's from a middle-class family.
Yeah.
His parents have businesses and shit like that. So Artie's always been pretty well off. And Artie just checked him on that and said, I don't give a fuck, man.
Dave's been from a middle-class.
No,
Artie?
Fuqua.
Oh, yeah.
But we all are from blue-collar families,
No real. I mean, there were a couple thugs in comedy when we were around.
Yeah, a couple of them. But Artie.
They shook out. Mike, I always wondered if Mike Epps was really a thug.
Yes. Yes.
My two dudes I partied with that I remember to this day. One is Tracy Morgan, who says he's never met me, never met that. And I was like, whatever.
Man, we were all around each other.
Me and Tony have that story from that Tracy Morgan story. That's our story. I don't give a fuck. He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Well, I get it.
We were all around each other.
People
are just trying to add that fake ass amnesia bullshit. But we all were around each other.
Mike Epps used to come to my apartment once a fucking week to party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I roomed with him. Okay? And we were blowing a lot of party balloons, okay? Mike has always been Mike.
He's cool. I fucking
Mike
love
is great.
That guy.
Mike's from Indianapolis. I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Mike is really he has that thug thing about him. Of course, he's a wonderful actor now, the guy, but he still has that street shit to him. He taught me a lot of street shit. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm not going to front. I got to say this. One time, one of our blinds, because I lived in a fucked up apartment. When Long Island City was affordable, I lived on Crescent Street between 37th and 36th Avenue in a shitty ass apartment. Our shit was crooked. The apartment was crooked. Our refrigerator door would open up for no reason, and Mike would kick it because he was all pop, 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 pop. Yeah. He would kick it in his long john underwear. And this motherfucker, one time, our blinds, like fell down.
Yeah.
And Mike was like, man, fuck, man. So I said, man, I got to fix it. He goes, man, I can fix it. And he fixed it in a weird ghetto-ass way. He goes, man, you got to nigger rig it, man. You got to nigger rig that shit. Nigger rig that shit. I was like, I even felt white. I was like, oh, my God, where'd you get that phrase from?
You never heard that?
No. You heard it?
Oh, fuck yeah.
You heard it and
I have a joke I can only tell in Tampa. Because Tampa, the N-word was thrown around a lot growing up.
Right.
There was a joke I got into. This is a true story. I got into the elevator in L.A.
Yeah.
And I'm far removed from Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm with my daughters, and our maintenance man is black. His name's Antonio.
Yeah.
And he wrote a note on our elevator door, and I start to read it, but I'm hungover. But as I'm reading it, he walks in. Antonio on Monday nights. My wife worked at the building too, so they worked together.
Okay.
So on Monday nights, he knew my wife had to work till 7.
Right.
Monday night football started at 5. He'd come by and hang out. And we start watching the games together. So I knew this guy.
Yeah.
So he opens the door opens and he comes and he sees me reading it. I'm doing his voice. It's gonna sound horrible. He's like, "Oh shit! Just so you know, some kids in the neighborhood, they's been getting a little ding dong and ditch." I go, "What's that?"
What?
He goes in and he points to the note. That's what the note he wrote is. Oh, that's just so you know, some kids in the neighborhood, they's been getting a little ding dong and ditch. So you know,
ding dong and ditch.
I go, "What the fuck is that?"
Damn.
He goes, "You never did ding dong and ditch when you was a kid?" I go, "I don't think I did."
Like fucking
He goes, "Will
leave?
you go up and knock on a motherfucker's door and then bail out and then he come out and you'd all laugh?" I go,
"Oh, I did
we
that."
did that." Yeah, and he goes, "What did you call it?" And I was like, "Nothing." It was called, when we were kids, it was called N-word knocking.
Nigga knocking?
That was what they called
the
it.
fuck
They'd
outta
knock
here.
on a door and bail out. That's
Nigga
what,
knocking?
Dude,
because that what black kids did?
No, it's just anything that was bad, the N-word got thrown in front of it.
That's hysterical.
So just so you know, the kid originally,
Yeah.
it was called jerry rigging. It was called jerry
rigging, right.
So because when the U.S. soldiers got to Germany, they called the Germans Jerrys.
Right.
And all their shit was broken down. They were trying to fix it barely, so they called it German rigging, jerry rigging.
Okay.
That's how it got that
shit.
term. And then, so I said to Antonio, oddly enough, we get out of the elevator, and he jokes around. He goes, "Fuck you, I know what you called it," because he had told my wife what it was called.
Yeah.
And my wife said to him, "Oh my God, growing up in the South, you know what we called that?" And told him. So when he saw it, he knew what I called it. I said, "You never heard that term?" And he goes, "I never heard that term." He goes, I go, "What did you call it when your car broke down and you fixed it with the piece of tape?" And he was like, "Shit, I called it fixing the motherfucker." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." But yeah, that was so funny.
Nigga, yeah, when he told me that, I had never heard that because living in Chicago, I'm around Southern black folks. We got Mississippi, Kentucky.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm fixing to go here.
Yeah.
I'm finna this. You know, that's the Southern shit. So that was the one phrase I have never heard.
Really?
Like the word steal on somebody. Yo, that motherfucker got stole on. That means I hit you while you wasn't looking.
Really?
If I steal on you, like when you threat somebody, be like, "Yo, when I steal on you, what the fuck you gonna do?" And you be like, "You mean steal on you?" Bam, hit you when you don't know it. That's like stealing a hit. So there was a lot of Southern shit that I knew and I didn't know.
So wait, so how did the RDU Dave stuff? Because you and Dave are cool now.
Well, Artie threatened him. Boom, boom, boom.
I think I heard Dave say something really good about you on media.
How long ago?
I don't know, recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I want to say.
He said something about it?
Because I heard that and I went, "Oh, cool, man."
Well, let me tell you something about Dave, man. I respect him big time. I was his friend. I'm his. Let me tell you what he did though, which was great. I'm David's friend. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I like Dave. But first of all, when I met Dave, I met him with Tony Woods, another underrated guy who
probably
Dave, the most underrated guy who Dave learned a lot of his style from.
Me too.
In DC. Yeah.
Oh, me too. I spent
Tony Woods is the cool. If anybody is listening, and I know a lot of people listen to your podcast, please look up Tony Woods.
I've talked about him ad nauseum. Tony Woods came in to the DC Improv one night. I'm there. I'll say it's sold out for the story, but it was a Sunday night, so it probably wasn't.
Right.
But it was packed.
Right.
My wife's there.
Yeah.
And he stands in the back, and I hear that distinct Tony Woods voice go, "Hey, why don't you tell that Tracy Morgan story?" And I go, "Is that Tony Woods?"
That's Tony Woods. Hey, shorty. What's up,
shorty?
Man? And Tony Woods talks in code.
Yeah.
I'll be like, if you don't speak Tony Woods, you're fucked. Because he'd be like, "Hey, remember the shit?" Okay, man. Yeah, shorty. What? You listen. Tony, I just did a little documentary. There's a guy doing a documentary for Tony Woods.
I was supposed to do that.
And I did it at the DC Improv a few weeks ago, and I fucking went off. And he texted me, I appreciate the love you showed me in this.
You got to give me his number. I got to reach out to him.
I will. I said, he's the most underrated, underappreciated comedian, and I wish I could be as cool as Tony Woods. Tony Woods took me overseas. I never went overseas until Tony Woods taught me how to perform in front of European audiences. Tony Woods taught me. I mean, I wish I was as cool as him on stage. To this day, I wish I was cool, but I'm a different kind of personality.
He would go up. Do you remember he'd go up at the Boston? Yeah. There would be like 16 people in the room, and he just wouldn't talk for like the first 2 minutes.
Oh yeah. I remember I loved watching him in the urban shows where there'll be 10 black dudes who have, you know how some black comics are all, everybody's energetic.
Yeah.
Man, let me suck my dick. Good night. Yo, you ever fuck a girl in the ass? Good night. Yo, man, fuck that. I smacked the bitch and then had the bitch on welfare. Good night. Yes. Yo, man, the bitch was sucking my dick too. Good night. And Tony Woods, after all that fucking chaos, after all 10 comics have done each other's joke, that son of a bitch would come up, take his time, come up on stage, no pressure. And I remember one day I was like, that's when I said, this dude is a fucking comedy god. He was like, hi, everybody, my name is Tony Woods. I'm glad you all enjoyed everybody else, but I'm going to let you all know everybody was, they were jumping all over the place. I may step over here, but that's all about it. I'm going to be right in the motherfucking middle.
Yeah.
And people were dying. I mean, I said, how the fuck did this dude, from all this chaos, just kill with the most mellow fucking attitude? Because, you know, I started in urban in Chicago. When Bernie Mac took me under his wing. I knew
really?
Bernie. What? You didn't know that?
No.
Man,
that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you is like, I'm all over the map of this interview, and I know that people dig that it's a conversation, but even I'm like I have like 9 million questions.
I know. I'm gonna try. That's
okay. Let's finish Tony.
Okay,
put a pin in Bernie,
and then we're
finish Tony, and then we're going. I want to
and Dave. I'll tell you what he did that was cool.
Okay. So let's go Tony, Dave, and then go to Bernie.
Okay, boom.
Okay,
Tony. So Tony Woods. I met Tony Woods in Chicago at this place called All Jokes Aside, which is 7 years, an all-black comedy club, which was owned by black people, open 7 days a week. That's where I met Robert Schimmel. Robert Schimmel walked in one day because he was in Chicago doing another club. He walked in on a Wednesday. It was amateur night on Wednesday. And he goes, hey, man. And I knew who he was. I go, it's fucking Robert Schimmel. He goes, hey, man, you think you got room for a little Jewish boy to go up on stage? And you know Robert Schimmel was a fucking dope-ass comic. Robert went up, packed, all black, destroyed. He goes, you thought a white dude couldn't fucking do this shit? Good night. Robert Schimmel fucking smashed it. And that's where I met Tony Woods.
Yeah.
And Tony, when I came to New York finally, I needed a place to stay because my friend faked me out or some shit. And Tony Woods let me stay at his apartment for a week. He didn't even fucking know me that well. Because he had a gig. He said, you can stay in my apartment, man, for a week in Brooklyn, New York. And I never forgot that shit. Because I was out on my ass. And I was doing a talent show, Talent, the comedian. I was doing some shit in fucking Queens, some one of them ghetto-ass shows, where the TV is on and motherfuckers are rolling dice and shit and going, boo, nigga, fuck you, that kind of shit. And boom, Tony Woods let me stay. And from there, we became really cool friends. And when I moved to New York, me and Tony played basketball every day. We hung out. And I just said, this is one of the coldest motherfuckers on the microphone. Demeanor-wise, clothing-wise, fucking... his attitude, his voice, and he always gave me advice on shit. You know what I'm saying? But he's helped out a lot of comedians. I'm going to say this again. He's helped out so many motherfuckers.
I would venture to say without Tony Woods, comedy wouldn't be where it is today.
No doubt. And he helped so many people that have gotten in positions where they could have given him a fucking hand, and they didn't. Now, I'm going to say this to Tony. Tony's been his own worst enemy, too. He's been his own.
Tony's been his worst enemy. Same way I'm my own worst enemy.
Same as Greer Barnes, who I'm going to say this.
Oh, don't even get me fucking started on Greer Barnes.
Greer Barnes is my brother. That's my fucking brother and he is one of the dopest fucking comedians.
Dude, let's take 2 seconds.
Okay.
Just to tell everyone how great Greer Barnes is.
Okay, let me tell you about Greer Barnes. Everybody, GreerBarnes. Look up fucking Greer Barnes. Not only is he a good guy,
Great guy.
So supportive of every comic.
And I'm gonna jump in on this.
Okay.
Is that from a perspective of my perspective?
Yeah.
I was a young comic. I was working the door. Mm-hmm. These are two dudes that every single night that no one's around, that they're gonna have a drink at the bar.
Yeah.
I could pony up and pick their brains, and they weren't dicks. They just listen.
Always listen
and talk and tell you their insights. Here's what I like about stand-up. Greer was dating this girl that worked at the Boston. Do you remember that girl with the red hair?
Yeah,
she was so fucking hot.
He dated,
and then he married some girl.
Yeah, he got pregnant. He got a lot of little seeds around.
Yeah, but Greer going on stage was like Tony.
Yeah,
he owned the fucking audience. Now, you may know him from Last Comic Standing, right?
Did he do Last Comic Standing?
I think so.
Okay, well,
but like he would go in. I still say this in the vein of like just unexpected.
Yeah.
And just slow and sound and
his accents, his when he does that scuba diving joke, which is one of the greatest jokes I've ever seen in my life. Let me tell you something. That motherfucker he would do the same act for years, but you never got tired of it. Because Greer was always afraid of doing new jokes. He literally told me, I am suffocating from insecurity. And I said, you're one of the baddest motherfuckers on the mic. You're like the Rakim. If you know hip hop, you're like the Rakim of fucking comedy. You're so good and so talented. And your act, I don't blame you for not wanting to do another joke because I never get tired of his jokes.
It's murderous.
He does.
He'd do horses running down the street, and it sounded like horses running.
He does a ping pong match, and it sounds like ping pong being played.
Dude, I gotta be honest with
Batman
you.
in the fucking Batmobile with the beatbox shit. He's like. He's an artist. He's like a Salvador Dali type motherfucker. That dude, you takes a paintbrush and just does that next level shit.
It really paints a picture. Yeah. I have a joke that I've been working on forever about running out of air at 90 feet in Fiji. I can't get it out of the gate because number one, I had someone tell me that you know the ending already, so that takes it away.
Right.
But anytime I started writing the joke, I ended up writing Greer Barnes' joke.
You know what I'm saying? It's that good.
It's that good.
Like
where you
Cosby's dental joke.
Yeah, you go. I can't. That is untouched.
If I do, and one thing I love about me and Greer were. He's a martial artist, kung fu guy.
Yeah,
and he was a baseball player for a long time.
He did that movie with Kevin Costner.
Right. I played baseball. He was center field. I was a shortstop. But me and Greer is always watching me. When I always think it's a compliment when Greer is in the doorway of the Comedy Cellar. Shout out to the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
When he's watching me and going. Every time you're always doing new shit. You're always doing new shit. I go, I'm not afraid. You have to learn to step out of that.
But me and you had the same fault, I will say. And I thought of this before we did this interview. I think we get very bored very quickly.
Yeah.
Like I would watch you go up and you would do this murderous fucking 10 minutes on the Matrix and then I'd never see it again. And I was like, wait, why aren't you working on that bit? And you're like,
because I put that in the fucking holster. I go, there's one in the round, in the chamber.
If we took those bits and and this is, I think both of us could, if we said, I'm going to focus and spend the next 6 months on one bit. And have my act and work on that one bit and get it. Like, but
that's not our personality.
It's not. Same with Bobby Kelly. Kelly's got the same.
We'll work on the bit, but it's in the rotating fucking circle. We'll work on the bit because now that I've done my second hour, which is on Showtime, it's called Regular Black on Showtime.
When's it air?
What?
When's it air?
It aired last year in August, but I consider it still kind of new.
Mine aired in November. I'm still talking about it.
You have to because. People have to, people have to get to know, when you're choosing stuff on demand, you have to, it's a buildup. It takes like a year.
Send it into the DVR, man.
Exactly. I shot it in Chicago with Rooftop Comedy. Shout out to Rooftop Comedy and Audible.
Matt Schuler?
Matt fucking Schuler.
I love Matt
Patriots
Schuler.
fan. I hate him for that, but okay.
Yeah.
Matt Schuler. Now, I shot it in Chicago. I did footage in front of Wrigley Field 2015 when the Cubs almost won. And the Mets swept them. I was there. Wrigley Field, boom, 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 boom. And after you do, this is what Jim Brewer told me. When you
by the way, this is the worst I've ever been in an interview because this is what a podcast should be, is two friends talking. Yeah. But like I almost called Brewer tonight. I almost called him right before you came.
Okay.
Because I'm going through some shit in life, and Brewer's one of those dudes. He's great, very grounded, very spiritual,
he's been
very
through a lot.
And I was like, and I'm going through some shit, and I almost called him, and I was like, man, I don't know, am I going to dump all this shit on him right now and then go, oh shit, Godfrey just showed up, I'll call you back.
Yeah, Brewer is good people's, man. He's been
great.
through some stuff, and I've toured with him on Just for Laughs, and he's really centered and knows what he wants, and I like that he's so like not about the industry, he's about his own shit, and
He's a dad first.
Yeah, he's dad first, man. And he told me, he goes, once you do your first hour, all you think about is that next hour. You just work towards an hour. So my material, I was always trying to go, I want to do a special, but I want to have so much material that when I have to do my next special, I go, oh yeah, I got this that I've already worked out.
Me and you could benefit, you and Bobby could benefit from a guy like, I've always said this, and I mean this as a huge compliment to everyone involved.
Yeah.
But like a guy like Fitzsimmons.
Fitzdog.
To go with us on the road for a weekend and just work with us, like co-headline, and work with us and go, this is lazy. You're better than that. Because that's my problem. Is I'll write stuff that conversationally I can force the square peg through the hole. But like I go, and it kills.
Yeah.
But then I go, what are the bits that I should be focusing on? You know, like I think me, you and Bobby are guys that you could put up anywhere in the lineup.
Yeah.
And we always, it's like, you know, there's a likability, but there's like a fun. It's like we're not trying to like, we're just having a good fucking time on stage. We like laughing. Yeah. We like good conversation.
I laugh at my jokes sometimes. I think it's funny.
Dude, I laugh at my jokes still.
Yeah, sometimes I go, this shit's funny. Yeah. I love it. And I love that people are enjoying it. And I laugh at the fact that it's like, I know you're going to laugh at this because this shit's funny.
And that you have a job. Tom Skor and I were talking about this.
Yeah.
He goes, sometimes I'll give because I'll go, I can't believe this is my job. I can't believe this is my job.
You pinch yourself.
You're like, I can't believe I'm sitting in front of these people telling these jokes.
But then you think that shit is, I call this, and I was just talking to my girlfriend about it. I said, this comedy is the mathematics of the arts. It's some hard shit.
Yeah.
But the only problem is, in math, because she's a genius in math, when you're good at it, you get rewarded for being a genius. Yeah. In comedy, when you're good at it, you don't always, the people that are good at it and are phenomenal at it don't always get rewarded. Greer Barnes, Tony Woods. I can name Marina Franklin. That's my homie. She's great. I went to college. We went to Illinois together.
Oh, really?
Fuck yeah. Known Marina 20 years, bro.
Really?
She's another comedian who gets overlooked, and there's a lot of bum-ass bitches that are on the mic that you see posters of all over the fucking whatever city that is, and they're garbage, and they can't hold a dime to fucking Marina Franklin. And check out her podcast. It's Friends Like Us, guys. Marina Franklin's dope.
I got to get Marina Franklin on this podcast.
Yeah, you need to. YouTube.
I'm going out to New York in June.
Oh, good. Get her on there.
But I always say, I want to get a list of the guys I love.
Yeah.
You know who I haven't talked to in forever and I'd love to is DC Benny.
DC's around. Get that motherfucker.
But it's just one of those things where it's like it starts with me texting. Like it starts with me texting Frosty and going, "Hey, can you get me DC's number?" Or texting Ben Bailey.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I just
you don't get their numbers. It's impossible.
I get distracted very easily.
Well, yeah,
I'm not really good at
distracted in this conversation. It's because we're comics.
All right.
We have 9,000. We have 9,000 thoughts. You ever get on stage and you go, "Oh, I got like 2 other jokes I want to tell, but let me finish this one," and then you forget.
Yes.
You have a brain fart. That's how we are.
You ever tell a joke and you're like, and then you go, "That's fucking gold right there," and then you go, you get into your next joke, and then you're like, "Wait, what was the one I just said?"
I forgot something, and you don't want to ask the audience because you don't want them to have any power over you. So you go, "Fuck, what was I supposed to say?" This thing about the car. Thanks. Yeah. Now he's going to tell his friends he helped me out.
All right.
Tony Woods. Now Tony Woods. Did I finish the Tony Woods? I said, okay. Like I said, real quick, you need to YouTube Tony Woods, support Tony Woods. Tony Woods. He's one of the greatest comics ever.
He was my mentor, and I say
no
that
doubt.
100%.
No doubt.
Every single fucking night.
Yes.
Me and my best friend, Tony Hernandez, hung out with Tony Woods every single night.
So check out Tony Woods and check out Greer Barnes, one of the coolest motherfuckers. And I still try to get him off his ass because I love him to death. That's my boy. And we share ideas because we're kind of we can do accents and all that. So we share ideas. So I'll check out Greer Barnes and check out Marina motherfucking Franklin.
Marina Franklin featured for me one night in New York.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew who she was, from I knew her name, but I hadn't seen her work before.
Yeah.
And it was a light night at Gotham. She's just picking up a spot. She's not featuring for the weekend. Mm-hmm. She's doing like a Thursday night, one show.
Yeah.
And she fucking murdered, and I literally, and you ever have that feeling where you're like, okay, I know who you are, I know that, and now that I've seen you, I know that you're really something, and I really want to forge a friendship, but she wasn't being a bitch at all. She was definitely was like, oh, I got other spots, I got to bounce.
She's very honest.
It's good seeing you.
No doubt.
Take care. I'll see you around, and just left, and I went, fuck, I wanted more time with her. Like, she would fucking kill.
And Marina, I remember the first time she came up to me in New York, she goes, hey, Godfrey, I'm going to start doing comedy. I said, I'll see you in about 10 years, right?
Yeah.
She goes, and she thought I was being mean, and then she comes back 6-7 years later. I start, I start seeing her, and she goes, you were right. It does take this long. I said, I told you, but Marina, you're fucking dope, though. You're great. So good. She put her head down, got on stage, and now she's one of the baddest. And I mean, you when she goes on stage, you got to kind of work. You got to be like, damn, let me stretch out. Marina just murdered that shit.
That's New York. New York's a different.
New York is the shit.
It's a different muscle.
It's the greatest. Listen, I moved to New York because of that. I was in L.A. I tried. I said, ugh. Went to New York.
L.A. I will defend L.A. in this one sense.
You can defend
you're right
because I'm gonna defend that shit.
You're right about that up until a couple years ago.
Well, you got to get your phoniness on. You got to learn your phoniness here. That's why half you motherfuckers are going crazy and hanging yourselves because it's shiny. The sun is out, but you're unemployed. That's a fucked up scenario.
Yeah.
The sun is out and you have no job. At least in New York, you're unemployed, but it's cloudy. It matches. Someone just pissed on you. You're like, fuck yeah, I'm unemployed and I got peed on. It's all going. But there's paradoxes here. It's sunny out. You don't have a gig. There's hot chicks. You can't get one. You don't have a girlfriend. You don't have a car.
Guys driving around in Porsches.
And then you're going like this. Hey, man, let's do lunch. Yeah, great. We have a meeting in 3 weeks, right? Okay. It's like they force you to smile when you're not feeling that way. And then if you just keep it real and you go, I'm not in the mood today, all of a sudden you're not on the pilot because you told somebody the truth. You can't fuck with the comics. Like, you know how all of us used to shit on each other? Rich Voss, Jim Norton, all of us would, remember we'd be in a circle shitting on each other.
You told a story. You just reminded me of a story one time. This is fucking probably 18 years ago.
God damn.
That's how, I can't believe that. But I remember you telling a story about you going into a meeting.
Yes.
Or going into an audition in L.A.
Yes.
And you stuck your hand out to shake someone's hand. And the guy wouldn't shake your hand. And you were like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You didn't say that out loud, but you were like, and he was like, I don't know, you could be sick. And you were like, you don't shake my fucking hand?
Yeah.
Like, I remember you saying that. And I remember it was like, I want to say it was like me. The guys that all hung out outside was like me, Patrice, you.
Patrice, all of us.
Like every now and then, like Todd Barry. Like, it was
Bobby
the Justice
Kelly. League of Comics.
And it was all, and I would just work the door. So I was always listening. I wasn't like,
right.
And you were like, I remember Mike Epps telling the same story like a week later, but not the same story. But he was saying he went out and he did an audition for the not CW. I'm sure it was something else at the time. The BW or the B something.
Yeah, one of them.
The WB.
WB.
And the guy was like, "That's great. Can you say it more like hood?" And Mike was like, "Excuse me."
Right.
He's like, say it more hood. And Mike was like, said it again. He goes, you sound very country. Can you say it more like street? And Mike was
and Mike's from the street.
Fuck you. And he walked out.
I remember some lady told me I wasn't African enough, and I'm 100% African.
You're 100% African.
I was supposed to go,
all right, so let's start. Let's go there.
Okay, now.
Let's go there. And then
where are we?
We're good with Tony.
Woods.
We got to say Dave Chapelle.
Dave Chapelle. Now, years later, like Dave Chappelle show comes on, he didn't put me on it because he was still we were not speaking.
Yeah.
So he even did a sketch making fun of the 7-Up guy because I was a 7-Up guy at one point. And then
I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, I was the 7-Up dude in 2002 and 2003, and I used to host. I did, they 7-Up sponsors MTV Spring Break, so I hosted it twice.
Yeah.
It was awesome. So years later, Dave's not speaking to me still. Manny, who used to own the cellar. Manny, remember before he passed?
Of course.
Manny, one day he comes up to me, Manny and Esty. Hey, Godfrey, do this. I know you and Dave aren't speaking and stuff, but why don't you apologize to him? I said, Manny, for what? Motherfucker, he started it with me. And I said, Manny, I love the cellar. This is my spot. But if you think I'm going to apologize and that's going to affect me coming here, then fuck it, so be it. I'm a man first, man. Yeah. I don't play that shit. I'm not some bitch-ass motherfucker from high school in a lunchroom. I'm not trying to be cool. I don't care if I'm accepted or not. Yeah. I like people. I treat everybody with respect. But if you're going to accuse me and fuck my character up and I was raised right. I'm not stealing your shit, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was a friend to Dave. I'm his friend. I don't give a fuck about your movies or whatever. I respect you as a great comic. If all that shit was gone, I'd still be your fucking friend. You understand? I said, Manny, I'm professional. When I bring Dave up, I show him love. I don't show animosity towards him, but I'm not going to apologize to him when I get off the stage. Off the stage, it's open season. It's like, I'm a fucking man first.
Yeah.
Fuck the comedy shit. He respected that. I always treated Dave with respect. Then one day, long story short, Dave comes outside, goes, Godfrey, let me talk to you, man. I said, what's up, man? He goes, I want to apologize to you, man. I want to apologize. Because his father had passed away.
Yeah.
And I gave him a condolence card. And he remembered that. He said, I remember when my father died, man, and you gave me a condolence card. I said, because you're my friend, man. Da-da-da-da. Yeah. Remember half the time you would invite me to some of your parties? I go, no, I'm good. He'd have a whole bunch of hanger-oners that didn't give a fuck about him. And I'd be like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm chill. You know what I'm saying? And he goes, I know you're a talented motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. He said, I was just going through some shit, but I apologize. And I respected him for that shit. And I said, my man, we're good. I don't hold grudges like some bitch, but I'm not going to apologize to you first. If you start some shit with me, if I started it, I'd been like, man, my bad.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, we just gonna have to be, it's like superheroes with different powers. You Batman, okay, I'm fucking Spider-Man, whatever. We fight our own crimes, but we're cool now.
Yeah.
And I've hung out with him a few times. I saw the Wu-Tang concert not too long ago with Dave Chapelle. I saw the Roots picnic in Central Park.
Yeah.
In Bryant Park. So we are cool, and I respected him for that. I respect him for what he did at Comedy Central when they were trying to compromise him, and he didn't take that shit. Yeah. And I like that he's gotten paid his $60 million for his Netflix shit, which was dope. I respect him as a man, as a father, as a comedian. I have much respect for that guy. And we went through it. Hey, it happens, but we're cool now.
The thing that I think a lot of people don't understand that we don't understand either, but we get a glimpse of, is just how fucking crazy his life can become. Yeah. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it one more time. I was in Dayton getting paid, probably getting paid $4,000.
Okay.
Whatever it was. Okay. I don't remember when it was, but I know Chappelle he was just not in public the way he is now. And black dude rolls in the office as I'm getting paid. When you're on the road getting paid, it's just you and the manager. They tell everyone to stay out.
Right.
Black dude opens the door and just walks in and starts talking, and out of the corner of my eye, I see him, and all I'm thinking is because the dude in the kitchen was a black dude, skinny black dude.
Might be him.
And I thought, what the fuck?
You were walking in while I'm getting paid.
It doesn't bother me. If you want to know, I make $4,000 a week.
No, I don't need you to know.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Doc is going to say something to him. And Doc doesn't. He just starts talking to him. And I look over to Chappelle. He's got his backpack on. He's got a motorcycle helmet in his hand.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I just was like,
Ohio.
It's weird. It's kind of like seeing a great white shark, because it's like, I've seen a lot of great white sharks, oddly enough. But it's you go, I understand that I'm in the place where you see a great white shark, and I understand that it is a great white shark. I get that, but still, it's a great white shark. You've heard about these.
Yeah,
these are the movies.
Holy
these are
shit.
But then he started talking, and it went from like great white shark to like just a regular sea animal. As he was talking that he didn't have any new material. And I went, oh, that's right. He's a comic. Oh, I totally forgot. Yeah. He's the same boat I am. Is that every night you got to come up with something new, and he's having the same struggle I am.
Yeah.
It's creativity. He's a great comic, but he's not Jesus Christ. It doesn't just show up. He's got to come up with it.
This is the thing about comedy, which I've had the privilege of Seinfeld, because I was in Comedian.
Yeah.
The documentary. The reason why I was always around him. So Seinfeld had seen me do a thing about being in Egypt. When I was in Egypt, I came back from New York from Egypt. A couple hours later, I went to the cellar to talk about my Egyptian experience.
Yeah.
And Seinfeld had seen that. And then a couple weeks later, Seinfeld saw me and said, hey, man, I want to talk to you, man. I'm like, what? Sits me down. We're just talking about comedy. And he was giving me pointers and shit. Then he says, always remember this, because I had told him I've been doing comedy like 9 years. I thought I was the shit. I was like, yeah, I'm like 9 years. He goes, I'm going to let you know something. This is not me being a dick, but if you're 9 years in comedy, that means you're a 9-year-old. That's kindergarten. You're like, remember that, just to keep, because comedy is always going to be bigger than you. It's like a thing you will never conquer.
I said to myself the other day, I've been doing it 19 years.
Yeah, we're just about the same years.
And then I just looked, and Dane Cook is at 26.
Yeah,
and I went, fuck.
but we're still working at it. Man, I would see George Wallace, who I've become really good friends with. George Wallace would be up there with notes, still going over shit.
Yeah.
Been doing comedy since 77 with Seinfeld. They're still writing notes.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of these little bitch-ass comics that walk in like, okay, my man, you got 2 sitcoms. Good for you. But your mic game has nothing to do with that.
Don't
Your
ever.
mic game, that's like, you know what that's like? That's like being good at fucking a video game, a baseball video game, and thinking you can go on the field and smack a home run. The fuck out of here, man.
There's a lot of that.
Man, and I'm being honest. And people think, oh, you're being bitter. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not being fucking. If you want to call this bitter, you all can suck my dick right now.
Yeah.
Because it's man, it's like an equation. It's like when you see mathematicians always trying to figure shit out, right?
Yeah.
That's like comedy. You go, okay, I just did an hour. I got to do another hour. Fuck, where do I get the fucking punchline for this one joke? It's like math, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I take a lot of pride in my mic game. You take a lot of pride in your mic game. You said if let's say TV shut down. Let's say television shut down, the computer shut down. You go, I got the mic though. I can go around the country and blow shit the fuck up.
Let me tell you something. Apocalypse happens tomorrow, and all we got are campfires in the front yard
And microphones.
And I don't even need a mic. Just give me a campfire.
Dude, that's the new album, Campfire and Microphones.
I will feed my family.
What?
I will feed my family.
Yo, bump my fist right now. Everybody, we bumping fists. Yo, you
I will
dance with the
feed
mic.
my fucking family.
I can put my mic in my pocket, walk around, go, yo, let me plug this shit in. I'll entertain this whole fucking town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's not good that people are getting TV shows. I think it's great that there's so many different, thank God, guys like me and you who maybe were choosy about shit. You know, and as an African-American comic, I'm going to be real. I'm not trying to put on a skirt. I'm not trying to do no fucking sissified shit, partner. I'm not doing it. And that's not being, I'm not some homophobe. I got good friends that are gay. I don't care. I got friends but I'm not as an image and as having 2 nephews that look up to me. I want to be what I've groomed myself to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to be a badass. I want to be a heterosexual badass motherfucker. That's what I do. Some guys compromise themselves because they want to make it so badly.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to do that shit. I mean, I'll do silly comedies, but I won't do something where I'm the buffoon. That's not going to happen. And there's certain choices that I make. And if it's taking me too long, people say, I've been accused like, oh, the stuff you say is racist. I say, wait a minute. I talk about slavery. That's racist because we were slaves? How is it racist? People will say this shit.
Seriously?
Oh, man. Because I like to watch. I'm a big Paul Mooney, George Carlin, Richard Pryor fan.
Yeah.
I love that they push the edge. That's what I do.
Paul Mooney, I almost, but this is probably,
You almost worked with
like 1999.
Mm-hmm.
I almost walked out because Paul Mooney was getting on, and Patrice grabbed me by the arm and sat me back down, and he pulled me over to him and he goes, two tables over, Eddie Murphy is sitting here.
Wow.
You are not leaving when Eddie Murphy is watching. And I went,
I heard that.
I was like, we were Caroline's. And
Damn.
it was maybe 70 people.
Yeah.
And Paul Mooney went on with a bottle of champagne, and I watched the whole thing. I didn't get all of it. I thought a lot of it was jaded and angry, and I'm just being real.
No, you should.
But I sat back and I went, some of his points, I was like, oh, I would never write that. I don't have the honesty.
Right.
I don't have the insight.
But you know, he comes from that era where he had to go to the back of a restaurant. He comes from the era where he saw white fountain, colored fountain. He has every fucking right to be angry.
100%.
And the fact that he's funny with it, thank God.
Yeah.
People kill me with this. If a black man is born, like Dick Gregory, who's 80-something, who still does comedy, he marched with Martin Luther King.
By the way, Dick Gregory's nephew is fucking hilarious.
Oh, is he? I want to see it.
Fucking
What's
hilarious.
What's his name?
Fuck, I'm so sorry, man.
No, that's all right. Well, I'll look it up.
But he's listening. He's out of Ohio. And
I'll look
if
it up.
you ever go to Columbus, work with
I haven't done Columbus yet.
Are you serious?
No. I haven't done Nebraska
See,
yet.
that's the difference between New York and L.A. is us L.A. guys couldn't get work here, so we all went on the road, and all the New York guys were working tons and having a fucking blast. And so you guys all were like, fuck Columbus. You're like, I'll just do 3 sets of The Cellar.
No, but
I'm saying like 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, but
you're like, I'll do 3 sets of The Cellar and book a movie.
But that's a lot of people who don't headline, because I wanted to headline and do the road, because you got to learn how to do the road. I mean, you don't want to be like a road guy because you're doing the road because you can never get any TV shit.
Wait, what's your schedule look like? What time you got to get out of here?
Why?
I'm just checking because I want to piss, but I don't want to stop.
Piss.
I know, but I don't want to
take a piss. And what are we talking about right now?
Right now, we're talking about. I don't fucking know. We're talking about the road. Not
we're going to
road.
Boom, boom. And now we want to talk about. Remember, we were going to talk about. We did Dave Chapelle. We did Tony Woods. Greer
We want to
Barnes.
talk about Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. I'm going to do Bernie. Okay, let's hold on Bernie Mac. Okay,
let's hold on that.
We'll talk about the road and Bernie Mac. Bernie Mac.
I know, but then I want to. What I want to talk about.
What?
I want to talk about being black in America with two African parents.
Yes.
I want to talk about.
Sweet.
I want to talk
can write
about.
it down.
I want to talk about doing black clubs.
Oh yes.
There's so much I want to talk about.
Come on.
We've done an hour
piss.
right now. It's just floated by.
Take a piss.
And I so badly want my wife to be in here when you talk about Bernie Mac, but I know she won't. She's fucking drip. All right, I'm gonna pause this and we'll be right back. Yo, Leanne.
Yeah.
George is pretty good.
Talk in that mic real quick. All right, real quick.
Yeah.
So now we've invited
Hello.
the women back into the man cave. We're going to talk about for 2 seconds, and this is one of the reasons I fell in love with my wife.
Yeah.
Godfrey worked with Bernie Mac.
Oh, I loved Bernie Mac.
Yeah. I worked with Bernie Mac in when I first started doing comedy in Chicago. I was doing like mainstream, and then I asked, who did I ask? I asked some people. I said, hey man, I want to do urban. I want to do like all black audiences.
So Godfrey, so I'll say this to my audience, but I'll say it to you more importantly. Godfrey's Godfrey's mother's a nurse. Godfrey's dad was a professor over and they're both from Nigeria.
Yeah.
So his parents are like hardcore intellectuals, and if you spend 2 seconds with Godfrey, you know very quickly he does not suffer fools. He's a really smart dude.
Kinda.
And really smart dude. He knows like 19 different things about. But to do that, a lot of times to do that in a black room, that it would be considered crossover. It's not like Bernie Mac like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
Yeah, but that's so funny because funny is funny though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, funny.
I stayed that way. I never changed the way I approach comedy. I thought that this is going to be funny because when I would imitate white people or just do it doesn't matter because a lot of cats will come in. But the one thing I liked about Chicago was that we were all very distinguishable. Everybody had their own style.
Yeah.
From me, Deion Cole, Corey Holcomb, all of us, everybody was different.
You guys are so different now that I know you guys as men, meaning we're all men, but
just
different. Those are three very different comics.
You see how different we were. We'd all be on the same lineup. But the thing about that Bernie took me under his wing the most because he said he would be like, you know what I like about you, man? You talking all that smart college shit. He's like, but you're talking about it in front of hustlers and his crew was like Michael Jordan, Ahmad Rashad.
What?
Yeah, they were best. Yeah, man. He wore when the Bulls won their second championship. They used to go, "Who you with? Who you with?" That was a Bernie Mac saying. Yeah, him and Bernie were like that. He used to wear the
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Bernie
no.
and Michael were because Michael would come to the Cotton Club. Michael Jordan, his wife, Ahmad Rashad, and it would be like. Bishop Don Juan, that pimp that he's from Chicago. Bishop saw me as an amateur. When I did Soul Plane with Snoop Dogg, Bishop came on the set and greeted me first before he greeted Snoop Dogg because he knew me. Yeah, he knew me as an amateur. He was like, "Hey man, what's up, man? Seen you in a long time. I remember you in this, the Cotton Club." I said, "Yeah, I used to do shows for like pimps and hustlers and drug dealers and Mike Epps would come through." That's when I met Mike Epps and DL and Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah, man.
Holy shit.
And Bernie, me and this guy named Evan Lionel, who's still out here in LA. He's from Chicago. He actually housed Bernie when Bernie didn't have a place to stay. He housed Bernie and his wife and his daughter. My friend Evan Lionel. Yes. Him and Bernie were very close. See, this goes a long way. And Bernie used to give us advice. I remember I would sit down with Bernie after the Cotton Club with him and his wife. It'd be 2 and 3 in the morning, and he would give me all this advice all by myself. He'd be like, "Let me tell you something. Stay versatile. I like your style. That's what I like. See, there are too many people trying to be like Bernie Mac, but see, you don't give a fuck. But it's all about being comfortable with yourself, and that's why he liked me. That's why I ended up hosting when he started to get known from Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah."
He let me host the summer. Like one day he let me host the whole summer. Every comic was angry at me, like pissed. And I go, first of all, I didn't ask to host the Cotton Club. I didn't want to. Bernie asked me, so I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
He goes, I want you to host. I'm going to be gone for 3 months. I want you to host this motherfucker. I was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to say no to Bernie Mac.
You got to hear. Now you got to hear Leanne's impression of Bernie Mac.
So do yours.
I don't think I have one.
Ladies and gentlemen,
what's your favorite Bernie Mac joke? You know,
Bert Kreischer's wife Leanne is about to do.
I don't know. I'm stumped. I mean, I love.
I'm gonna crack you back to the.
Go on, do it.
White meat.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna crack your head to the white meat.
I'm gonna crack your head open to the white meat. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably pretty bad.
Good for you.
There's two things that my wife three things. I'll say three things.
Yeah.
The first thing was when we first started dating. She said, "Oh, you're a comic. I love the King's Comedy.
Yeah,
I love Bernie Mac.
Yeah."
And I said, "Really?" Just didn't seem like I was like, "Really, Bernie Mac?" She's like, "Oh, I love Bernie Mac."
Right.
And I love Steve Harvey.
Yeah, she still listens to Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. I was so bummed when they canceled his morning show in L.A. because I listened to his morning drive time radio show every single day.
And people love him now, boy. Those housewives especially love. He got the Steve Harvey show. He hosts the Big Shots. I think he hosts every channel. Yeah, I think Steve,
I loved his radio show.
And
Leanne would love his radio show. She felt like it was going to church.
Family Feud? You like Family Feud?
Loved him. I love him on Family Feud.
He has like 19 shows. This is the only thing.
I didn't know he wore a wig.
Oh, back in the day?
He wears a wig?
No,
that was the top fade was a wig.
Yeah.
What?
I know. That's
because he was balding in the center
one
time. That's when but here's the thing. I was in a comedy team for a year. It was me and this guy named Alexander. This is Chicago early. We started a comedy team. And I remember I was really mad because my partner was getting drunk and forgetting the lines because I was writing most of the sketches. Yeah. He would forget the lines. I go, dude, we're in the middle of a fucking show. What's wrong with you? We would open up for like Adele Givens.
Godfrey doesn't drink.
Now I'm starting to learn.
Shut up.
A little something. Right, Kim? I'm learning to drink a little bit.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'm learning about wines and stuff. Yeah, wines. And she's teaching me.
Yeah, I knew that because every time we go out drinking, Godfrey just hang out, be cool, but he just not drink.
I would just watch them do all kinds of stuff. I'd just be sitting there like, hey, you want some? Nah, I'm good. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, what was... Right.
I don't blame you. I'd like root beer better than anything.
Root beer is amazing. That's my favorite. What were we saying just now?
We were talking about Steve Harvey and your comedy team.
Okay, so this is my meeting with Steve Harvey. I knew Steve Harvey as an amateur.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in the hallway mad because my friend was drunk and high and he was forgetting all the lines and I had to split this check with him and then Steve Harvey was in the hallway and he goes, he's like, what's the matter with you? I was like, yeah, I'm just like kind of a little frustrated. This dude, man, he's forgetting all the lines. He goes, I'm gonna tell you something though. Say when I'm watching you, man, you the one that's talented, man. You need to cut his ass. I remember he said you
really?
need to cut his ass. He said, how much you making? I said, we're making like it was whack, like $100. He goes, you like splitting that money? Cut his ass. And he walked off. And that's when he was balding in the middle of us. And he walked out. He's like, I'll see you later, man. I got a picture of that day.
Really?
And he walked. Yeah, I still got. I'm gonna find all my old pictures. I'm telling you. And he walked away. Steve Harvey, because he used to come to Chicago all the time. He packed it out. Oh, man. It was a big deal when Steve Harvey came to Chicago, especially when he did Def Comedy Jam. People packed it out. And here's one line that I use from Steve Harvey. If I'm ever in a real bad jam, he goes, I remember this dude was heckling Steve, and Steve doesn't like to heckle. He was like, hey, man, let me tell you something. And he would always talk in third person. Steve Harvey don't like when people heckle him. You understand? He said, when you walked in here, they gave you a chair and me and Mike. That was a motherfucking clue. That was just you're an amateur. You're like, yo, that's the coolest. Clue. That's the baddest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Steve was part of. I knew Steve a little bit. I didn't know him that well, but he, when he every once in a while when he would see me, he'd be like, "What's up, man? Chicago, blah blah blah, whatever." Yeah. So that's my. Bernie was my thing, though. Bernie, when Keith Robinson was on tour with him, he had called me. Keith Robinson called me and said, "Hey, man, Bernie, Keith was like, hey, yo, Bernie Mac wants to say something to you."
Yeah.
And Bernie's like, hey, man, I'm proud of you, motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And I said, I told you, Keith. I told you I knew Bernie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So man. So that was cool that I got to know Bernie for like now. I mean, he became so huge. He was about to be. I mean, if he was still around,
he passed from mesothelioma.
Was it? It was some internal organs,
lung disease or something.
Something weird.
It was something crazy, off the wall.
But it's funny how he became George Clooney's friend. Matt Day, he was in like big ass movies.
He was just real.
And everybody's imitating Bernie. Like this was a local dude.
Yeah.
Like that accent was a Chicago South Side, and then you go all over the world. Everyone's like Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
And they're talking like Bernie.
Best set of stand up ever is that Def Jam of his.
Yeah,
I ain't scared of you, motherfuckers.
You know what happened with that, right?
Hamburger Jones.
Somebody had bombed before him.
Hamburger Jones.
It was with Hamburger Jones, and everybody was shitting on the comment, and he came out and said, I ain't afraid of you, motherfucker.
Martin Lawrence, if you watch Martin Lawrence's intro for Bernie Mac, he starts off by going, this guy's from Chicago, and you can hear them like, and he's like, no, trust me. Like, you can hear that his intro leads into it, and then you hear Bernie come out, kick that shit. I've showed you that.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
Bill Burr and I talked about that, because Patrice showed that to Bill and said, this is the best set of stand-up ever.
Yeah. That was his second Def Jam. His first,
was it?
Yeah, he did his first one where he did Take Me Out to the Ball Game at the end. He was a little nervous, and he had like his greenish sweater on. He had little glasses. He was like, because we all watched it. Bernie Mac is going to be on Def Jam, and he did pretty good. Yeah. But then the second time around, he had already been on the tour, so he was like, I ain't afraid of you motherfuckers. Kick it! Yeah. That was his second time.
I'd take my dick out this whole room and get dark.
And everyone's like, And then he put Chicago on the map. And that's funny because when I came to New York and I was doing the Jersey gigs and all those little urban gigs, I would say I'm from Chicago. Everybody would be like, Bernie Mac. And so that helped me.
Right.
As a Chicago comic.
Crazy.
Because I was the only Chicago guy around, remember? I was the only guy from Chicago.
You were the only guy I knew from Chicago.
Nobody else was from
The only other person I met from Chicago... Hang on a second. I'm going to let my wife go. Do you want to go finish cooking dinner?
Well, I had some questions, but I am cooking.
Questions. Go.
But it's off topic a little bit.
That's okay.
Like, what'd your parents think when you started doing comedy?
They didn't like it at first because they were like, I thought you...
No.
I thought you were like, want to be in psychiatry, I was like, no, I really want to... Because I didn't tell them. I kind of like, I was working at a grocery store, and going to college. Yeah, but I wanted to try the comedy thing. And then I kind of snuck around doing comedy. Then my sister caught me one day.
Oh.
Her friends happened to be at the comedy club going out. And she was like in the hallway. She's like, well, what are you doing here?
Oh.
And she goes, you're doing comedy? And I was like, yeah, you better shut up and don't tell anybody. and she goes, you better be funny. Now she wants to fucking be an asshole.
Right.
But I told my parents, and then they were like, well, that's cool. They weren't like outraged. They were just like, okay, but we thought you were like trying to be like pre-med, da-da-da. And they said, well, what are you going to do for backup if it doesn't work? They were just thinking that. She goes,
acting?
Yeah, they were like, what if it fails? You got to have something to back up. My mother kept doing that.
Yeah.
And then when I started getting some momentum and then when I had booked a commercial, I booked a McDonald's commercial. Then I was making, when you book a commercial, you make some money.
Yeah.
I was able to move out. So my father was like, wait a minute, I like this.
Yeah.
This is good. And then he started seeing me do little things here and there. And then they were supportive of that. And then it was at first like, what?
Yeah.
Why are you, but then it was all right.
Well, to be a really good comic, you have to be really smart. Like
That's what
really,
I think.
really. No, you do. You are very smart. So
I'm very smart.
Do they now? Do they see that now?
Well, my parents aren't around anymore.
Oh,
unfortunate.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Gone. Yeah, my mother like 14 years ago.
Oh my God.
Father like 5 or 6 years. Yeah.
They're young.
Really?
Yeah. Not that super old. They weren't like elderly, but they were old. But
How old are they?
My mother was like in her 50s because it was leukemia.
That's not old.
Leukemia.
That's really young.
Leukemia, though, it's cancer. What are you going to do?
What
and my father died from just being by himself.
Aww.
I mean, he missed my mom like a big time.
I'm sure.
But they say that happens, though.
Together, right?
Yeah. They say that happens, though. When you're with somebody a long time and then they go, then you just go, hey, I'm out. That's what I heard.
Not me.
That's heartbreaking.
She
Shut
dies,
up.
I start all over.
I die. He won't know
Brand
what
new.
to do. He can't
Young
get out that
pussy.
door.
Young pussy. We're talking like 30 years old. That's young
Good
to me.
luck.
That's young pussy now.
We're talking 75.
I'm talking 60.
65, 70. I'm all good.
Wait, so what were your parents like? What was it like? Your parents, how were they when they moved to the States?
Man, my father was like, he had to be like 28, 30, like 30, I think, about 30 years old, something like that.
Grew up in Nigeria.
Yeah, man, 100%.
You know the
only marriage pictures of Nigeria.
You know the only Nigerian I've ever met where I brought you up and said, "Do you know God?" The one thing that I don't know how public this is or whatever, but not that it's not or is not, but I used to bring you up on stage if I ever brought you up with your full name, Godfrey Danchimah.
Yeah.
And I said to this Nigerian, "Do you know Godfrey Danchimah? Do you know who he is?" And he said, "No." And I said, "He's a great comedian. You have to know him." And it was Christian Okoye.
What?
Yeah. It was right when I got my first TV show.
Wow, but he wasn't listening to comedy like that. Christian Okoye from the Chiefs.
Yeah, and I said, "You have to know Godfrey." And I told him your full name, and I said, "You have to Google him. You'll love him. You'll love
Christian
him."
Okoye.
Yeah, and
the Nigerian nightmare.
Do you want to hear a good Christian Okoye story? So I said to him, I interview him.
He went to Azusa Pacific.
Azusa Pacific.
Yeah, Azusa Pacific. Yeah.
I interview him, and then we all, right after the interview, everyone was taking pictures. Yeah. And I say to him, "Oh fuck, there goes this story."
Out.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
All right. Let's cut this mic so we don't hear that. All right. I think that's perfect. So I say to Christian, I go, everyone's taking pictures, and I said, hey, we get done. Then I said, a private one, just me and him with our shirts off.
Yeah.
And everyone laughs, and Christian didn't get the joke. He went, "Huh?"
Oh, that Nigerians don't know sarcasm, bro.
And I said, I saw him just joking. So then we get done the show. And then everyone was get a picture with him. So everyone's lining up. And then everyone starts walking away. And me and him are the last two people walking off stage. And he grabs me by the arm with that big fucking hand. And he goes, "I want to be shirtless with you." And I went, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "You said we could be shirtless." And I went, "Oh, no, that was a joke." And then he goes, "Ha ha, I got you, funny man."
Oh, that's good.
And I went, "Shut the fuck up." And he had that. He was a massive fucking dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're the only, I said to him your full fucking name, and I was like, "You need to Google him. You need to watch him." Probably not Google.
Because if you go
Ask Jeeves at the time.
Wow. Because Godfrey,
you need to ask Jeeves him.
If you just go Godfrey, usually the whole name, they'll go, "What?" That's why I just stuck with Godfrey, because not everybody, they say, "What kind of name is that?"
I remember one time I brought you on stage, you're like, "Don't even say my last name. It's so fucking..." And then right after that, I worked with a guy who was like, "You need to lose the Kreischer. Just be Bert. All anyone knows you as is Bert." But
then Sesame Street.
Yeah. And they literally were like, "Ladies and gentlemen, your feature act, you've seen him on Last Comic Standing. Put your hands together for Bert." And it just sat silent. And everyone's like, "Bert what?"
Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay, we did that. We went boom.
Okay, we got Bernie Mac.
Boom.
We got that.
Boom.
We got, what was it like? So what was it like going into the Chicago scene?
Yeah.
I mean, I won't say you're not black, meaning but you didn't grow up in Chicago like D-Ray maybe.
No, not at all.
Like that,
but I knew guys. I had friends like him though.
But you were, but you were always, you always held, in my experience with you, you always held yourself to a different standard than everybody.
Damn right.
And I say that, black, white,
still
Mexican, Cuban.
No, right.
You've always held yourself to a different standard in the fact that you're not a guy that sits and wastes away your day playing video games and dicking around and eating cereal.
I like to eat cereal. I like to play video games, but I don't sit around doing it all day.
You're super
as far as
engaged in life.
Engaged, but yeah, I like to do other things. Like I say, I guess martial arts, yoga, blah blah blah, working out. Going to museums, blah blah blah, doing that. Yeah. As far as like work ethic, I could be better at that. As far as my comedy work ethic, But if I there's that extra shit that you see other people do that maybe not be as talented, but the fact that they're doing that extra shit is why they're getting to where they're getting. I'm getting better at that with the social networking by collaborating with people, being a little smarter about shit. It has actually worked because I've been packing out places that I hadn't been packing out before. I'm like, yo, I fucking sold out. What the fuck? Man, I went from good numbers to like, oh, you sold out. What?
Yeah,
and then people go, man, the podcasts I listen to you on, yo, that shit you do on Instagram, yo, that shit you do with Rennie, this guy named @Rennie, he's an Instagram star. The shit you do with King Batch. I'm like, oh, that shit is working. It's working. And then now motherfuckers are like, and I heard you and Chad, shout out to Chad Zumak, you guys are talking about how come Godfrey isn't at a certain, it's like that.
Everyone said that. Everyone said that about two people when I first started. It was you and Dane Cook. Right when I started,
Dane finally.
They were like, but they were like, Godfrey and Dane are the shoo-ins. You guys are going to be like movie stars in a week. But in a weird way, I think it was like the way that you end up settling with the business of going like, yeah, shit happens for everyone at different times. It's a lottery ticket that's unscratched. Right. Like I'm Dane's going to be on the podcast in a couple weeks, and I'm not trying to shit on Dane at all.
No,
at all. I would never shit on Dane. Dane's experienced things in life I can't wrap my head around. None of us can. Right. He's seen parts of this business that we don't even know exist yet.
Right.
But I will say that like right now in my life where I'm at, I like the come up. I'm not saying I wouldn't want to be Dane, but like I don't know about like having the millions and being
and selling out Boston Garden
and going what's next. Like there's got to be a little I know Dane, and I know that Dane is a guy that drives his own ship, and when he's sitting there rudderless going like, what do I want to do next? Like maybe I want to do a TV show, maybe I'll and you got millions, and you're in a mansion in the hills that's gorgeous with a bunch of beautiful women, and you're in great shape.
You've been to his mansion?
I've seen it on Instagram. and I'm, by the way, I'm not taking away from Dane at all. I love Dane. I've known Dane a long time.
You same here.
But
I never roll with him.
Me and you are in the same boat of hey. I'm sure there are people like, well, Bert got signed to a deal within doing stand-up 6 months. He'll be a star. And then sometimes you just make a living, and you make a really good living, and you're happy, and you're like, and you're sitting in your front yard having a cigar going, I think I'm cool with this. Like maybe I could call Jim Brewer today. Godfrey's coming over in an hour. Dane's going to be here in a couple days. Jim Florentine's coming by. I got a really great life. I'm getting texts from Rogan and Segura and Bill Burr. Yeah. Like the funniest motherfuckers in the world are my friends. Right. What am I looking for? Do I need to be like a Carrie Fisher type? Like, do I need to be in Star Wars to make this story complete? Because when that 7-Up deal happened.
Yeah, but I took it for what it was. I was like, it's a commercial, can come and go.
Yeah.
I took it for what it was. I was like, oh, it's cool to be part of American culture, to host your own product. Like, so I've seen some people be spokespersons. I said that. See, a lot of this stuff, you know where a lot of this stuff comes from?
What?
When you get mad? Because you grow up wanting to be a lot of shit. Like superheroes. We're like, wow, I collected comic books. I love Spider-Man. I love Batman. And then you go into a business where you got people you see playing Batman. That motherfucker gets to play this guy. These are shit you grew up with. Yeah. Oh my God. Voiceovers. Who didn't like cartoons?
Yeah.
We in a business where we can play a cartoon character.
Yeah.
But you don't get to yet. You're mad at that shit.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you don't realize when you're growing up, wow, this all looks fun. But now we're in the business, you go, oh damn. There's a lot of bullshit you got to go through to play Scooby-Doo.
And there's
you got to pull your pants down in order to be the da-da-da-da. There's a lot of
bullshit I don't have to deal with. And I say this respectfully. Being white, there's a lot of shit I don't have to deal with.
You goddamn, I'm glad you said that, Bert. Thank you.
No, but
don't be like some white dude that goes, man, it's tough for white guys too. Shut the fuck up.
It's tough.
You guys have to literally go into an office and hold everybody hostage to not get a deal.
It's tough for a white. I'll tell you what. It's tough for an average white guy.
What? Motherfucker,
there's a lot of average white guys sitting out there.
Microphone.
There's a lot of average white guys sitting out there.
No, there's a lot of average white guys on TV.
And you're right about that. You're right about that. You're right about that.
There's a lot of average white men stinking up television. Do you hear me?
You're pretty right about that.
I'm not naming anybody, but there's a lot of average white dudes stinking up television, and that breeds more other average white dudes that are arrogant as fuck. And there are a lot of funny ass white dudes that ain't getting shit. But I'm not even speaking up for white dudes because I don't give a fuck about your problems because your problems are fucking weird and I don't know what it's about because I don't know what it's like to not be judged because of your skin color, but your fucking skill. You guys are actually judged by your skill level, and you don't even have to have skill level to make it. There are probably some white dudes right now mad, but I'm like, it's some average white dude angry right now sitting in his mansion. You feel where I'm coming from.
No, I know what you're saying.
Look at how a lot of white comics act. other than the Bill Burrs and the maybe Dave Chappelle's, Dave Chappelle will never complain who's on stage. He don't give a fuck who's on stage.
Yeah.
I'm Dave Chappelle. I'm going to go up after whoever the fuck. Most white comics will be like, who's up there? Oh, no, there's a black comic. I don't know what to do. White problems, because they always want the sweet spot. We're like in the back of the bus fucking comedically. We always got to be the last. I'm just saying.
No.
So white dudes always get the sweet. Even when they even book racially, bookers be like, yeah, we're going to put this guy before you. Can this guy go up before you, Godfrey? Sure, no problem. Bill Burr don't give a fuck.
No.
Certain ones don't give a fuck. Look at a Dave Chappelle and those guys. They don't always get all the TV shows. They're the ones that are usually the funniest ones.
Yeah.
But these average-ass, pansy-ass comics that are fucking milk toast, they get everything. And then they walk into a club like they're the shit.
I know who you're talking about.
And they make sure they get their asses on stage before I get there. Or not, you know,
yeah,
you feel where I'm coming from.
I know exactly.
And now I'm going to look like I'm the bitter guy. I don't give a fuck.
I'll tell you the frustration.
Yeah.
I realized it in Chicago playing at the Schomburg. I was headlining. I was probably 33 years old. Yeah. The guy featuring for me, Chicago comic. His name's Kevin, not Kevin Frazier. Kevin something. I wish I remembered his name. I really do. Yeah. Very nice guy, black dude. Yeah. Braces. I don't even know. At the time. Very funny. Yeah. I only have interacted with him a couple other times. Mm-hmm. One time was on this fucking horrible radio show I did because I liked Opie and Anthony, and the fucking guy knew Opie, and it was a fucking nightmare, and the guy felt bad for me. Right. But the guy said to me, he was a little older than me, and he was like, I want to say his name's Kevin Frazier or Kevin McDonald or something like that. But he goes, very candidly, he was blowing me off stage. Right. Very candidly. And we all knew it. Tony Saldino or Tony Baldino knew it. The owner, he knew it. I knew it. The host knew it. We all knew it. Yeah. And I was struggling all week. And like Saturday early show, he said, he goes, you know, I'm just curious. Like, how did you become a headliner? Like, not being a dick. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like,
how the fuck?
And I was like,
are you getting more money than me?
I was like, and I was real. I was like, there's a pretty white community. You're destroying pretty hard because they don't really go to see black comedy. But like,
he was just funny.
But he wasn't doing black comedy. He was just doing a black dude.
He was just funny.
And I go, and I said to him, and this is no shake on Tony Baldino. He did not say this. No. I'm telling this to this guy, Kevin. I said, I think it would be hard for them to put your picture on the marquee and people to show up around here.
That's disgusting.
But it's true.
But it's true. If
they put my face on the marquee, they'll come. People go, hey, what are you doing tonight? Nah, let's roll the dice. But if you put his face up, and he was not dirty,
no,
he wasn't
that's just racial shit.
You just see his face.
They racial profiled him,
and they go, oh, that night's not for us. That's for them.
That's for them. Isn't that? Yeah, that's Chicago.
I went. That's the world. That's the United States.
Listen. It's no different than. Like when you go overseas and you go to the duty free, you see all the colognes are all advertised by white people. Yeah, I mean, you mean it? You didn't know that? Charlize Theron. It's all white.
Until you just said that.
All white actors in duty free. I walked through there fucking wanting to kick these fucking pictures off. So you mean to tell me that if you saw Denzel Washington with a Tag Heuer watch or a Rolex, you wouldn't want to fucking buy one?
But if you saw, but I will tell you
what. What?
I saw like Snoop Dogg cologne, I'd be like, I don't want to smell like that.
But that's Snoop Dogg cologne.
Like, there's a difference.
But if you saw,
there's a difference in between wanting to smell like Brad Pitt and wanting to smell like fucking old dirty bastard.
But that's putting up a fucking rap star. I'm talking about. A classy actor. If I saw
Denzel's different. Denzel is probably in the mix of that. But
sometimes they'll do that. They'll go, yeah, Brad Pitt, and you put fucking Snoop Dogg. That doesn't make sense.
That wouldn't make sense.
But if it was a Snoop Dogg fucking Cavassier, some shit, people are going to buy that shit. I'm saying if you're putting cologne, why the fuck would you put Snoop Dogg? Put Denzel Washington. Put Don Cheadle. Put fucking some cool black actors. Sidney Poitier in a suit. Yeah. Don't put our classy people. Don't put the Lil Wayne. You want him to fucking... Come on. That's not fair.
I smell like cough syrup?
Yeah, Charlize Theron, or you put fucking...
it is
Precious. Get
and
the
those,
fuck out
and
of
those
here.
Are those are the the things that I find I find racism, and I think it's as being a comic, I'm a contrarian immediately. I look for the things I find racism in. I think is where racism like really exists.
Where
really exists?
Where does it exist?
Like number one, this is the one thing that's killing me right now.
What's that?
Is we may agree on this or may not, and this isn't about black or white. It's about
I hope we don't.
Sexuality.
Okay.
It's the big stink in Alabama was that they were Beauty and the Beast. They were going to have the first gay character. Gaston was going to be gay. Played by Josh Gad. Mm-hmm. And now I'm on both sides of the fence. Oddly enough, I do find it to be a tad bit ridiculous that a parent of a 5-year-old would have to explain homosexuality to his kid after just going to see a movie. I do see that. I do see that Christian parents.
So Beauty and the Beast was going to have a gay. So was the story going to change?
No, but this character who I think has been like closeted gay. That's the joke.
Okay,
now he's going to be openly gay.
In the movie?
In the movie, yeah. He's going to be like, not like making out with dudes, but definitely dancing with dudes and being attracted to dudes. And there's going to be some jokes where homosexuality is the thing.
Right.
So I do understand that parent's perspective, because I didn't want to have that conversation with my daughters. Not that I do or don't, but I was like, how gay are we going here? Like, so then I watched it.
Right.
And I went, oh, it's not that bad. However, the joke was that he was gay. So the joke, it was the same as blackface. It was gay face, meaning like the guy got dressed up, guy got dressed up in girl clothes, and then that was the joke, is that he liked being dressed as a girl. Or two guys dance together, and the fact that there were two men dancing together, that was the joke. Well, and that bothered me.
But the gay thing it's black. That's not a good comparison.
Okay.
Because blackface was ridicule of black people. That's not the ridicule of gays. That's not the ridicule.
The joke.
It's actually not.
But what about this? What about
being
this?
Gay? It's we who are looking at it are ridiculing it, but they are definitely not making a joke of gay community, because they would not dare, because the gay community is powerful. The gay community Hollywood has a strong gay community. They ain't gonna let that shit happen. They're introducing a gay character, but it's we who are looking at it as a joke, because we're like, what? Beauty and the Beast, you understand?
That's fascinating.
Exactly. The people who are inside are definitely not introducing it as a joke, because they would shut this shit down.
So then
Broadway? Are you kidding? This is a Broadway play.
Yeah.
Gays and Broadway go hand in hand.
So wait, walk me through this then. So then I started whittling it down.
Yeah.
And like obsessive compulsive comic brain, I'm laying in bed trying to figure out a joke about this. And I started going, Key and Peele had jokes where the joke was they were two gay dudes.
Right.
They were like, we're just gay, and that's they were not. It wasn't like a complex series of jokes. It was just like, we're gay. That's the bit.
Right.
Is two gay men are washing a car or whatever.
Right.
I don't know what their jokes were, but then blackface, because I kept comparing it to blackface.
Nah, you can't. So when gays compare, you cannot compare being black to being gay. I hate when they do that. Now, discrimination is the thing that they can relate to us. Oh, I've been discriminated against, but there are a lot of racism in the gay community. You know what I mean? Like if you're a gay white dude, let's say you're gay, you're still going to benefit from the fact that you're white. You can actually, there's a lot of gay people that have hidden the fact that they were gay and benefited as a heterosexual white person. And then as soon as they get all the money they got to get, then they come out. They go, well, I got my money. No.
So no, I'm just curious.
Listen, a black person is judged whether they're gay or not for their color.
Yeah.
Because let's say like the fashion community, right?
Yeah.
Fashion community is the most racist fucking community on the planet. Look at how they treat black models, Asian models. They'll have like one black girl and 900 white models because, and it's white men that run it. Gay white men. Yeah. And gay white men will say, my cousin was a model. She would literally tell me what these gay dudes would tell her. Oh, we have a black one already. This is a gay person telling her this.
A black one already.
Oh, a black model already. We have a black one. We don't. These are gay people telling her this. Remember this. And these are the same people that say it's just like being black. No, it's not. No, it's not. Discrimination is the similarity. Discrimination is the similarity. Like, it's not cool to discriminate against anybody. That's not cool. But when you're white, Whites, no matter whether they're gay or not, they have discriminated against people of color, and that is a fact. J. Edgar Hoover was a homosexual. You didn't know that?
Well, I knew I had heard it,
but no, heard it.
No, but see, that's one of those things. That's one of those things that you go, is that folklore or is that real?
It's real.
Is the gerbil in the ass a real? You know,
real.
Really?
Yeah. When DiCaprio played him, he had a lover in the movie. When Hopkins, was it in JFK? Remember JFK the movie?
Yeah.
With Kevin Costner. Remember he had the gay service boy he was messing with. Yeah, it's real.
Really?
So J. Edgar Hoover, if being gay and being black is the same, J. Edgar Hoover would have spared Martin Luther King's life. He would have spared Malcolm X's life. He would have spared Medgar Evers' life. He would have spared the Black Panthers.
There would have been an umbrella of
black people.
Yeah.
But he didn't like black folk, and he was gay and white male. So racism and being gay do not go parallel. So sexism and black and race go parallel because women are judged for what they look like. But even that, white women can still be racist against women of colors too. So because you still have that white privilege. What's more acceptable to you to hear a joke? Is it to hear? No. I meant like like. Let's take it back two steps. Yeah. If you saw Ted Danson in blackface, that was fucked up.
So walk me through.
He was doing it with Whoopi Goldberg. I didn't know what the joke.
As a white guy, I have such a disconnect to it. Like I just go.
Well, you should. I just because you don't know what it's like.
Yeah, I'm just like I don't get it.
You just shouldn't do that shit.
Yeah.
Just don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. Like in Amsterdam, there's a Santa Claus. It's called Santa Claus. He's Santa Claus. And Zwarte Piet. You know who Zwarte Piet is?
No.
He has black helpers. This is Dutch folklore. Santa Claus and Zwarte Piet. Even Tony Woods told me about it before I got there, and he has these helpers that go through the chimney and they turn black from the soot, and they help him give toys. Black Peters. Every year during Christmas, they have a parade where they have a Santa Claus and white people in blackface, and they say it's culture. It's culture. When I was working in Walgreens, I worked at Walgreens in Chicago. I worked in the liquor department. It was Halloween. And this dude walks in blackface and a dreads. And I said, "Who are you, man?" I was mad because I was already militant from college.
Yeah.
I said, "Who are you?" He goes, "I'm Bob Marley." I said, "Bob's not even that dark. Why do you got that shit on your face?" I said, "Bob Marley is like, he really meant a lot to black people and the freedom and you're wearing blackface." Yeah. Bob Marley would beat your ass if he saw you. And the guy goes, "I don't give a fuck." And I took a bottle and I was about to throw it and hit him in his motherfucking face. And this guy Muhammad, who looked just like Saddam Hussein, he said, "Godfrey, don't do it." I said, "I'm gonna fuck this dude up if you don't get the fuck out this store with that blackface." Yeah, I was gonna.
Blackface was a legit Halloween costume until 1995.
There's still people that do it and they think the shit is funny. Now here's an example. Like Thunder. What's the Thunder thing when Robert Downey played a black man? That was dope. That wasn't blackface because he looked like a black dude. Okay. That's different.
Okay,
blackface was Al Jolson.
Right now, I wish Jamie Kennedy and Stu Stone. I wish you were listening to this. I hope you're listening to this. Jamie Kennedy and Stu Stone. Do you know Jamie Kennedy, right?
I know him a little bit. I'm not super friends with him, but I know
nice
who he
guy.
is.
He's great.
Yeah, he's cool. He was very cool.
And Stu Stone, they had a show called Blown Up.
Yeah.
And they dressed it. I think they would agree with this. It derailed their career a tad bit for a while.
They dressed in blackface?
Godfrey, I swear to you, all my children, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. So they do it with Tracy Morgan. They're see that? And Jamie's going to dress as a black guy to play a role as a black guy.
Right.
And he dresses, and Stu's like, "You look really good, man. I didn't even know that was you." And
did he look like a black person?
He looked like Daryl Strawberry. He looked like Daryl Strawberry.
But did he look? But
it's prosthetics. It is.
But that's different though.
So wait, hold on.
If it's
Here's
prosthetics and you're really trying to look like.
Hold on. By the way, I've talked about this so much, and I will say to you, on my children, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, go ahead.
So Tracy Morgan tells Jamie and Stu, "You guys want to be rappers." The whole premise is they want to be rappers. Right. You want to be rappers. What you should do is dress in full prosthetics as black men, go on stage as black men, and see if your rhymes are legit.
Right.
So Jamie's like, "That sounds like a great idea."
Okay.
So Stu Stone goes in, and he comes out looking like Old Dirty Bastard. It looks, all they've got is the leftover prosthetics. He looks like a runaway slave. It's so bad. It's so bad. But they go down. But the best part is they're driving in their car, and it's just the two of them, two white guys, and they're going, this is a horrible idea. It's so funny.
But listen.
But Stu and Jamie will both say it derailed their career.
I'm sure it's funny as hell. Listen.
Oh, it's funny.
Listen, I'm not saying it's not funny.
Yeah.
But I'm saying as far as representation, it's like it's fucked up. It's demeaning. I'm saying, I'm not saying it's not funny.
Yeah.
Separate that.
Yeah.
As far as, because they even said it's not a good idea. They even said it like
they're saying it out loud. This is a really,
of course.
And they're like, we're going to Long Beach. Isn't that where Snoop grew up?
Yeah. So I get that.
Yeah.
But it's as far as what it represented, demeaning black people, what black people had to go through in the past, they still sell that artwork. You know, there's dolls, pickaninnies that people in Japan, they have them in their houses. They go, well, this is history. I say, well, it's almost like you see black people like that. You know what I mean? You see black people in that image because our image of beauty has always been fucking put down. That's why everybody's trying to look white. That's why the image of beauty has always been, you know, the lighter you are, the better you are. The closer to white, the better you are. You know, being dark was like a curse. It happens in the Indian community. You see Bollywood is all the light-skinned fucking Indians. The Latin people try to, you know, bleaching skin is a big deal. So that whole picking anything is it's like making fun of Jews, man. Like if you bring up if you say Hitler, motherfucker, that sentence better be right, because they'll be like, nah, we don't like what you said.
Look at what Pence said today.
What
was it Pence or whatever?
No,
or whatever Spicer? Yeah.
He was trying to make a point, but he fumbled because the Jewish people are so sensitive about Hitler that people fumble and get nervous. But black people should be that same way. That if you bring up blackface, there should be a point where you're like, you're going to get your ass whooped. Fuck that. But we need to be like that.
But
Jews are very sensitive about that Holocaust, which they have every right to be, the same way with slavery, the same way with picking any shit, same way with cooning. We should be the same fucking way. But the problem is a lot of us let people do that shit around them. No. I'm the type of dude, see, maybe that's why, I don't know. I don't know what people consider me in this business. I just think I'm a funny comic and I mind my business. But you ain't doing that shit around me. Fuck that.
There's a couple. You know what I mean? Not a couple guys. I don't think I know one dude.
There's nothing wrong with having a little fucking dignity, bro.
No,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Can I tell
and it's like you get cursed for having some dignity. Fuck people.
First person I saw that got cursed for having dignity was Donnell Rollins.
Donnell, he's gonna have dignity, whether you like it or not.
Man, I watched him. We were doing the show, Reality Bites Back, and they wanted us to dress in gay leathers. And me, Theo Vaughn, Mo Mandel, Chris Fairbanks, we're all throwing on gay leathers. We don't give a fuck. We're in a weird way, in white culture, that is our favorite thing to do is be gay.
Love doing gay shit.
We love being gay.
Twisting nipples. You guys like to twist nipples. And you guys like to smack each other in towels with your booty out.
And Donnell and Red Grant would not do it.
That's right.
And Donnell's like, I'm not about that gay shit, son. He goes... He goes, I'll put the shit on, but I got my clothes under it. So he had jeans on with like leather pants and a full collar shirt with a fucking leather. And he was like, I'm not doing that gay shit. And he was very adamant. And I remember them going, you're sounding homophobic. And he goes, I'm not homophobic. You're just not going to make me look gay. I'm not going to look gay.
And they try to throw that homophobic. See, my thing is this. I'm not homophobic either, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I have.
I've known you too long. You're not. There's no part of you. Man. We've all partied with so many people. Yeah, man. No one gives a fuck.
My wife gave her a hug. What's up? But if I go, hey, man, I don't go that way. That doesn't mean I'm homophobic. I'm wired as a heterosexual.
Yeah.
Let me be that. Quit throwing the homophobia shit at me. I'm not homophobic. I respect how you live. I respect you.
Yeah.
In fact, my neighborhood I live in is mainly gay. In the Hell's Kitchen in New York.
I'm sending an address to someone.
Yeah, that's fine. And those are actually the better neighborhoods. The gay neighborhoods are actually better. They got better shit. I'm not homophobic just because I do not want to do the things you do sexually. Do not try to throw that shit on me. I don't do it. And I will defend if I see somebody that's gay getting fucked with. I'll defend them if they're my friend. I'll be like, yo, what the fuck? You can't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I understand what Donnell was saying is he's like, I don't feel comfortable dressing that way. That's all he was saying. But the fact that he said, I ain't with that gay shit, the way he said it, he should have said it a different way. Like, hey, man, I don't feel comfortable dressing like that. Not saying, you can do you, I don't mind, but that's how he should have said it. But you can go, yo, I ain't with that gay shit.
Matt Schuler's on his way over, by the way.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God.
Get out of here.
on his way over.
Damn.
Him and Shane Moss are doing a documentary about psychedelics, and I've obviously partied, so
that's so dope. They're coming over. How long?
Man, can I tell you what I love about you is that you don't have a problem telling your opinion to people. Like it's a thing I respect about Joe. It's a thing I respect about Marin. It's a thing I respect about like the guys I look up to. I go, you know who you are, and you're cool being who you are, and you're like, fuck it, man. This is my pirate ship. It's a Corolla.
It took a while because I was, you know how you want to be like, you want to satisfy everybody. When we were young, you're like, yo, and your manager say, remember?
How old are you?
Guess.
47. No, 47?
Yes.
I said 46. I know you're a little bit older than me, but not much older than me.
Right. And I said, I used to be like, hey, man, I wanted everybody to accept me. Da-da-da. It's normal. Your agents tell you, your managers tell you, hey, don't do this, don't rock the boat, blah, blah, blah. But okay, but isn't that what your parents tell you? Yeah. Be careful, do this. But then when you get a certain old age, you go, I think this way, Ma, Dad, just leave me alone. Dude. No different. And now I learned, finally, to fucking, because I was told I was being a fucking idiot and being ridiculous, and I was told I was right, Kim, remember? I was told I had my head in my ass, and then finally I was like, you know what? By you. And I would get mad at that. I would be like, yo, fuck that shit. Don't be talking to me. I would get mad because of ego shit. I was like, no, you don't fucking tell me that shit. And then she'd be like, I'm just telling you, you are being a fucking idiot. And I'd be like, no, fuck that shit. And we'd had fights. Then you realize, oh, wait a minute. It doesn't even matter whether I'm being obsequious or not. Hey, if I just be myself, I pretty much the same shit's happening regardless. So why don't I be myself? And now I'm better in meetings. I don't fucking lollygag in meetings. I mean, it's okay to be charming, but it's not like, oh, please give me a job. I'm like, yo, you obsequious in a month. I was being that because I thought that was the way to be. But now I'm not in a meeting being a dick. There was a time where I was being mad negative.
I'm being a dick.
I'm balancing it out where I'm just like getting cut.
I want to get to where you are. I'm in a place where I walk into a meeting and
I want to smash.
I go, I don't need your money. My manager's like, what the fuck are you doing? We need their money.
Sometimes I want to come into a meeting and smash somebody over the head with a chair because I go, you really, really are questioning what the fuck I can do. Last night you saw me on stage. You just saw me, and just because it's morning time and we're in your office, you don't know what the fuck I can do. I'd be wanting to fucking strangle somebody, man. But I'm like, now I get to the point. I go, hey, man, I just want to know why did you call me in? I want to contribute. But you know my style. What can I do? Are you gonna give me a show? You gonna give me money to do a show?
What do you want to do?
That's
the $1 million question.
I want to do what the fuck I want to do. And be successful at it. I want to create my own shit with people who believe in me and back it up with some money.
So my buddy Dan Adler listens to every single one of these podcasts. He's a big producer, but it's single.
Hey Dan, what's up? Single camera
hosted reality.
Hosted
reality.
I don't give a fuck.
But what would you want to do in that?
What would I want to do? Because
I'd love to.
I would do some cult because I'm a culture man.
Yeah,
I would love to do. I like to keep it real. I would love to do some shit where I'm in the I love New York so much.
Yeah.
I would love to go to different places, and to really ask the questions, and with a comedic edge, with a real comedic edge, not some fucking pansy shit.
Yeah,
I really do want to get inside of a Nazi dude, a one-on-one with a Nazi dude, and ask him, yo,
you're too smart for that, man.
What?
Only that. You'd run laps around that dude. The problem with you, Godfrey, is that you are too fucking smart.
What?
You're too.
But if I were white, would I be too smart?
Yeah.
Be honest.
Yeah. You know what they're called?
What? Really?
That's Todd Berry. I can't have Todd Berry like it's Rogan. Rogan, like when I watch Rogan when he did Joe Rogan Questions Everything.
Yeah.
I watched his eyes wander and go like. I'd watch the guy answer and I go, Rogan's already on to the next question. He's got like 19 more questions. I've already answered this guy's questions. Dude, you're like Rogan, man. Like there are guys like you that I go, I don't know why you just don't do a single podcast like Burr where it's just you ranting every day.
I might have to do that.
Not might have to. You have to, man, because I'm telling you when I say this. I'm a smart dude. I'm a smart dude.
Give me a question. Here's something. Here's something because you obviously you're backing me. You obviously speak well of me.
Always, my entire
okay,
career.
Now, I'm not going to front, but I approached some people who have their podcast companies, and I said, man, I'm thinking about blah, blah, blah. They were a little bit like kind of blew me off. Man, I want to tell you, I'm not going to tell you on the podcast. Kind of blew me off, and I was a little disappointed because I go, I've known you for a long fucking time, bro, and you're in a position where I've seen you accepting certain people. What about me? I have my own voice. Listen, I got some people that are looking out for me, but I was very disappointed because I was like, let me go and see what they would say if I was thinking about doing it. Kind of like, I was like, is it an intimidation? I'm like, I'm not trying to take over your shit. I just want a fucking medium where I can just somebody to support me so I can do my thing and build my own shit.
The truth is, when I got into this, I think I'm in like a little bit of an OG in the podcasting game.
Yeah.
It was back in the day where you had to call a couple people to figure out how to do a podcast.
Right.
I would personally never do a podcast with anyone. I talked to someone the other day. Once again, we won't say names. Yeah. But he was like, I'm waiting for my podcast deal to clear so that I can start it. And I went, what? You start it tomorrow. All I have, this podcast is this. It's this. This thing costs like $300. Yeah. These, they're nice mics, not really nice.
I
but
got
like
2 mics. I got mics.
$100 mics. Yeah. We got these XLR cables and an SD card. That's it. And so... And I'm not saying like I don't know who you're talking about. I'm sure I know them. I'm sure I'm friends with them. Yeah. Fuck them. You start your own podcast. Just start it. Come out whenever you're in LA. Whenever you're.
I can do yours again.
Always, dude. I can talk to you for hours. Dude, come do a podcast with me. Do a podcast with everyone. Everyone. Do Todd Glasses.
Listen, I did
Sklar Bros, one of the biggest podcasts in the country.
Sklar Brothers. Yeah. Jason and Randy. I've known him for a long time.
Dude.
Boom. I did that.
You were on 3H. 3H? What was the name of their TV show?
Yeah,
3M.
Apartment 2F.
2F.
With Galifianakis.
Fuck yeah. I remember that.
Fuck, man. You remember. You got a great memory.
Dude, I told you I came into this as a fan.
Your memory.
I'm a fan more than anything.
So that's
Look, I love you. I love you as a brother, as a comic, as the things we've been through in this business.
Long time.
More than anything, man, you make me laugh. That's the only reason you're here.
Man.
That's the only reason you're here is you're funny.
Chad is one of my good friends.
Yeah.
And Chad you guys were talking and said, hey, how come Godfrey's not at the and they said somebody called me and said, Greg Fitzsimmons did an episode of Why Godfrey Isn't Famous. He said, here's something that Greg is a sarcastic, real motherfucker. And he goes, here's something that fucking boggles me. How the fuck this guy isn't bigger than and here's another thing. I fault myself by making bad moves. No, listen. I fault myself too. For making some bad moves with stupid representation, doing dumb shit. I got that. I'm out of that though now.
Yeah.
And you know what? The thing about our game is the older you get, the better you get at this shit. You got to make sure your business shit gets better though. But the older you get, the better you get. Nobody's 20 years old and becoming a phenomenal comic. That's what we don't have to worry about.
Dan Adler is going to call me. I'm going to release this tonight. I'm going to post this in a few minutes.
Tell Dan I want to do some.
Dan Adler.
Does he know who I am? Maybe not.
No, now he does.
But
let me tell you something. He texts me after every one of these podcasts, and he goes, I like that guy. What's the deal? What? Tell him to come on in. No, tell him to come on in. Is Matt with him? Who's here? No, it's not. Shane. Yeah. Tell Shane to come back. Dan is going to listen to this, and he's going to go, what's his deal? And I text him. I'm pretty honest with him. I've known him a long time. As the guy that introduced me to Travel Channel. Mm-hmm. He is a great dude, and he's got the eye. Like you always go, like, what does a producer do?
Here's
a handful of dudes.
Here's another thing.
Like, yeah,
not a lot of African American dudes are like have a really cool like they're hosting their own shows. You know, they never pick, and I know I can.
They don't, because the second they do, everyone goes, so what's the deal with this show? Like, you're right. You're right about this, man. I'll be the backer of where racism comes from to the day I die, because it's these fucking people. It's just seeing a black face and going. So where are they taking these people? Like, why? What this isn't regular? This is different. It's white people's. Just it's the fucking Chris Rock said it best. He goes,
did he say it best?
He did say it best when he said Laura Michael isn't racist, and neither is Adam Sandler. But I will tell you that I know for a fact that Adam Sandler and Laura Michael had a dialogue that I did not know how to have when I was in that room. Like, they had a shorthand that was between the two of them as two white people that I wasn't a part of.
What?
And it's just like that they knew how to talk as two white guys, because Adam Sandler had a dad that looked like him, and that he had a son that looked like him, or whatever it was. And it was like really mind blowing. I went, it's that shorthand. It's the shorthand of like,
really?
Yeah. Like, it was the shorthand of two black guys, when you guys see each other in the mall and you pass by and you head nod, you go, yeah, that's a shorthand.
You know where that comes from? You go, what's up? Because you go, white folks, yep. You go, because what's really sad, this is when you know, when people say, things are changing. I go, how come every time I go around the world, I get the same report from a black person? You know how white folks are. You know how they are.
Yeah.
From all over the world, obviously nothing's fucking changing. If every black person you see is going, we all have the same stories of racism, no matter whether it's subtle or whatever. Even in Europe, where they say it doesn't happen, that's where it fucking started. That's the headquarters.
Dude,
of
they throw bananas at black players.
I know.
That fucking blows me away.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised. You're going to throw. This is what I'm saying. Most racist people are punks anyway. They're bitch-made people anyway. Yeah. You're going to throw a banana. There's one black player and 20,000 people. Really? It takes that many people to fight one. Why don't you one person, go up to that fucking supreme athlete and give him the banana yourself and see what happens?
Yeah.
Give him the banana. I'm saying, let's make racism fun, Bert. I guarantee you, if
that's your show, let's make racism fun. Let's make racism fun.
If more racists would one-on-one challenge people, I guarantee you racism would change.
On a heartbeat.
If they do it in groups where it's unfair, I say, hey man, like, if people go, I want a race war. Okay, then what you do is you get 10 of your friends, I'll get 10 of my fucking angry ass black friends, and then we fight it out. And I guarantee you, this shit would change.
I'll tell you what.
Everybody be like, you know what? Racism isn't worth it, man. You right. I said, let us beat each other up fairly.
And you know what? And this would never happen, but this is my idealistic brain. Yeah. Have a beer afterwards. Let's all have a fist fight, and then go to a bar, and then go to a bar like they used to in the 50s, and go, man, that was fucked up. Holy shit, that was lopsided.
I don't know about the 50s.
Or no, maybe the 30s.
Yeah, still hated in the 30. Why are you going back, dude?
No, I'm looking at Rumble Fish. Do you remember the old days where like, it's a rumble, no chains, no steals, no knives.
You know, it's like sports,
what?
Where they kept us out of it, but then we beat them so badly when they went one-on-one with us, they had to let us in. Same shit.
That's one of the things that I go.
We just got deep. Go ahead.
No, it's the truth though that it's so funny that white people didn't let black people into sports for so long.
And then and you couldn't even be better than us at it. You had a fucking 60-year jump.
I wish it was back there a little bit, just so I could compete. I can't compete at all. I mean, it's so bad. I could what happened to the days when I had a jumper?
It's like
I used to be able to go to the hole.
I know you can't do that anymore,
dude. I remember the day I was told I was white was this dude named Brucey. Right. Brucey knows me. He listens to this podcast.
Yeah.
He just tweeted that he goes. Apparently, you're talking about my swing. Because he had a beautiful swing. He went to University of Miami. Yeah, he went to University of Miami. I played against him in high school.
Yeah.
He was the one guy that you will say, there's not a racist alive that could ever say anything negative about this guy's swing. That guy's swing was so beautiful.
Like almost like strawberries? Better than Daryl Strawberries?
I would argue
better than Daryl Strawberries?
Brucey, can everyone hit up Brucey? I know he listens to this.
Better than Robinson Cano?
This swing was so gorgeous from his hip pocket to his collar.
Wow.
Just so beautiful. Oof. But Brucey and I played basketball against each other. I think we went to St. Joseph's.
Right.
And it was the time I realized, Eric Knupple's dad said, it's because you're white. Just don't worry about it. It's just because you're white. It's like you're never going to be able to play against this kid.
Wow.
He stuffed me maybe 15 times. Like, he was so much better at sports than I was that I was like, and I was really good at sports, but I was like, there's a fucking difference. There's a legit difference here. Priscilla starts looking in, but like this guy Brucey, he just tweeted me on Twitter, and he's like, I heard you were talking about my swing. It was that good that I've talked about it numerous times on this podcast. His swing was so beautiful.
Yeah, you think it's because he was black? But he's just
No.
Well,
I will tell you.
Really nice swings. But
Cayman Lazera.
If it's because he's black, I'll go yes. Because I always want to be on top of. I always want to be superior.
Cayman Lazera had a beautiful swing, but let me tell you something.
Mark Grace did too.
I have to give this a genetic advantage to Brucey and going because you were black, you were just there was something really beautiful about it. Like the way you saw Michael Jackson dance, and you were like, white guys don't dance like that.
No, they don't. Because
and there's something.
But there is listen, we're rhythmic people. We started rhythm. We created music. We created rock and roll.
Yeah.
We created every kind of cool ass American fucking, and then most of the people that white artists learn from are poor as fuck, and they're wealthy as shit.
How about this?
But we created it.
Take a look. I'll tell you two similar examples.
Yes.
Ready?
You think people?
Pete Rose versus Rod Carew.
Ooh, Rod Carew. But Pete Rose hit the most hits.
It doesn't
Rod
matter.
Carew had a sweeter swing.
Right?
Yeah,
And
way better.
You have to say
Rod Carew. But not
that is genetic.
Well,
that comes from the people. That Rod Carew stance and swing was so pretty.
But we're cooler people, though.
Right, and you look at Pete Rose as just a roughed and with a hard helmet, like a clock in.
But black people we're cooler. Let's think. Come on, we just are.
Yeah,
and I know your white people listening are getting mad.
No one's getting mad.
I'm talking shit.
Yeah, no,
I don't really care.
Dude, they love. This is the kind of conversation that my fans love. It's
but most white dudes are cool because they learn from black people.
Yeah.
Most of the times you hear, like, you go, why do I love Mick Jagger? Well, Mick Jagger, his whole career is based off of black music. Yeah. Why do I like Led Zeppelin? Robert Plant's whole career is based off of black music. The Who, I've seen all the documentaries. The Bee Gees didn't make it until they started singing like black people.
Led Zeppelin stole specifically from black artists. Specifically.
No. Every white artist has stolen from black people.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley. I actually like Elvis. But why? Because he was doing black shit. But Elvis was talented, but he was talented off of black shit.
So then why isn't Africa better than America?
Because they've sucked all the fucking shit out of Africa. They take all the resources, the diamonds, the oil, they steal everything.
Culturally, why is it like
colonized? They've been colonized by the French, the Portuguese, the Dutch, the German. They come in and take over and ruin the whole shit and leave.
Really?
No, that's why Africa's fucked up. Yeah. European colonization.
Really?
Yeah. European but then the African leadership is horrific. That's the truth. But yeah, but they still own all like resources.
Hold on. So repeat. Hold on. No one can hear you. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying is that all these colonizations have pulled out, but they still own the resources.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Give her a mic.
Here,
I want to hear what you're saying.
I was gonna say it.
Here, hold on. Bert Kreischer. Hang on. Be quiet for a second so I can find this. Okay, you were saying. Here.
Yeah, I was just saying that the resources from Africa are the majority of the world's wealth.
Really?
Yeah. Those are the resources. That is the continent with all the rich resources.
Where are all the
animals?
You know, all the animals, and let's get simple. Animals in zoos, all of them come from Africa, most of them.
Well, yeah, but
I'm just saying animal jails.
That's like for a sense of novelty. I mean, there are a bunch of animals
I'm just saying,
all over the planet,
Africa gives us everything.
As far as like the resources that people actually make money on,
just to make sure I get it,
that create the world's wealth, that's what comes from Africa. And all those European powers and basically white people still own all those resources, even if they pulled out governmentally. So these countries are struggling because they're poor, not because they aren't sitting on top of their resources, but because they don't own them. They don't have access to them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bert.
So I've been to South Africa. I've been to Tanzania.
South Africa. Come on, you know what happened over there.
South Africa's a little bit of a shit show.
It's still
It's a lot of bit of a shit show. Yeah, and it's entitlement. Yeah, absolutely.
The Afrikaans, I call them the Dutch people, because I think it's weird that we're the only people where another race calls themselves African. Now, if I call myself Chinese, would you believe me?
No.
You know?
I lived in China since the 1600s. I'm Chinese. Would you go, no, you're black. You just happen to be in China.
I would, but I'm American.
But how do white people call themselves African and it sticks? No, the whites, South Africans go, I'm South African. I go, you don't look it.
Yeah.
How are you African?
You're Dutch.
You're Dutch.
Yeah.
But the fact that you can take their name, take African and call yourself African is so gangster to me.
Yeah.
I mean, if I call myself Chinese, you'd be like, what if I call myself Irish? I'm Irish.
I'm probably not Irish.
I've been in Ireland.
You're definitely black Irish.
No. I've been in Ireland for fucking 60. I'm Irish. Fuck that. That's what they basically did. I lived in Africa, so I'm African.
But there are Chinese people that live in this country that you go, where are you from? And they go, I'm American. And you're like, well, no, I meant like...
You're Asian.
There was a comic I just saw do that. I don't know who did this. And I'm sure this is a racist joke. But I did see a comic go, no, where... it was a black comic. He goes, no, bitch, where is this shit from? Like, where's this shit from?
That's funny.
And I was like, I forget. I wish I could credit
Asians
the guy.
never get the respect they deserve. Even if they don't have an accent, do you still go, no, but you're Chinese? I go, no, I'm American. It's weird. Yeah. But if you're white, a white person can say, yo, I am Malaysian. And you'll, like, agree. Like, because that's that privilege, man. Yeah. You can take somebody's nationality and call yourself that. Damn.
Let's do this.
Okay.
You need a podcast, and that's silly.
Okay.
Listen, I'm going to text you all. I did this to my.
So
buddies.
you're going to help me out?
My two buddies are the Kitchen Cousins.
Kitchen Cousins
from HGTV DIY.
Okay.
And I just said very easily.
The Kitchen Cousins are your buddies?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, they are. Fuck, massive.
I'll send them to go see you next time they're
what?
in New York. They're fucking the greatest guys in the world.
They are massive.
Greatest guys.
I see them everywhere.
They're on Ellen all the time.
Those are your... Yeah!
I told them, I go, you need to start a podcast. I've done that to everyone at Scripps. All my brothers at Scripps, the Property Brothers, the Kitchen Cousins, Josh Temple, everyone at... Dude, Bobby Flay, everyone. I've talked to all these guys going, you need to start a podcast. Now, I will say this. Please hit these motherfuckers up. None of them have started a podcast. Most of which is offensive is Bobby Flay. Probably the coolest fucking guy I've ever been around in my life. It is a misstep, Bobby. I promise you that. I will tell you, Bobby, I know that, dear Bobby, I am making more on my podcast than I made at Scripps. And you know how much I make. We've talked about this. So just fucking do a goddamn podcast. Now, I will say this. It's very simple. It's this recorder, these two cords, and this mic. You'll only need one mic and one cord, because I don't think you need to talk to other people. I would like to hear you once a week. I'm being serious. You got that Bill Bert thing where you're just smart. It's like Joe. Like, you could rant. You don't need another person. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
And it's easier to do that way. Personally, if I could start it over, I'd just do a single podcast. Problematically, I like this. I like this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I like opening my mind to shit. I'm not a smart dude. I'm okay smart, but I'm not like...
I'm okay smart.
No, you're different than
Please.
Come on.
I'm not good at math. That's the one thing
You read.
I read sometimes, but not like what's hurt.
I don't read instructions to putting a chair together.
Me neither, bro. I couldn't put a model car together with the blue. Fuck that. I'll just look at the box and go, man, I'm gonna try to make it look like that.
I did those two Adirondacks in the front yard. I was like, I'll figure this out. Fuck them both up. One hurts your neck, the other hurts your lower back.
Dude, IKEA doesn't help that situation. The cartoon drawings, fuck that.
Remember that time you got mad at me over the desk?
Oh, I got pissed the
That's
fuck
what I
off.
joke. By the way, I have said this. The joke I used to have about dating. I go, I don't know why people go on dates, go to movies, go dancing, and then have sex. Go to IKEA, buy a table together, see if you can put it together. That's how you know if you belong together.
For real.
That was but the origination of the joke was buy a dog, take it out of the woods, and kill it together. If if you can drive home happy.
I like your IKEA.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
This has been a solid 2.5 hour podcast.
This was unbelievable. You gonna play the whole thing? Son?
Yeah, of course.
Did we skip anything? You said about being black in America, African, nothing, right? It was that we went over that.
I think we got it all.
We got it all, right?
If we don't have it all, man,
I'm coming back.
When you back
I'm
next
gonna come back next month. Trying to come back like once a month.
Come back. I'll tell you right now.
Depending on the schedule.
I know my fans. I know the podcast. I know how they work.
Yeah.
I get them a little bit. I try to figure out their ebbs and flows. They're fans the way I am. So like the guy in the kitchen right now, Shane Moss.
Yeah.
I've had Shane on 3 times. First numbers that I had him on were like, okay, really great podcast.
Yeah.
Second one's twice as big. Third one's 3 times as big.
Damn.
If you have people on repeatedly, then the fans kick in and go, oh, I know this fucking guy. Yeah, and so I try to do that. There's like people that my fans automatically know, like Tom Segura, Art Shafir, Joey Diaz.
Guys, they come off of the big joint. You just named everybody Joe Rogan's has blown up. Those are all Joe Rogan's crew.
It's
Segura, Shafir.
It's a small group of guys that are
but their shit is big as fuck because Joe hooked them up. You know, I've never done Joe's podcast before.
You'd be great with Joe. Joe's podcast is super fun to do. I always say this out loud to everybody. The best way to do it is just don't say anything to Joe. Just when you bump into him, be cool. And then one day you guys will get into a conversation like that. You guys,
I made a mistake and said something to him like, "Hey, I'd love to do your podcast." When I just said it, he just looked at me like, "What? Like, get away from me."
No, he's not like that. But he definitely is like he's a guy that he just wants to know that he'll be able to talk to you for 3 hours. He doesn't do anything lower than 3 hours.
That's not a problem.
And so he just wants to. By the way, I never speak for Joe. I don't know Joe's insights on his podcast, why he does it or why he doesn't do it. I don't. I really don't. I love his podcast.
Yeah.
But I will say that, like, in a weird way, he just wants to know that, So I saw one guy, I won't say his name. He was like hounding, trying to get on Joe's podcast left and right. Everyone, like. And I was like, I told him, I go, don't say anything, just hang out, man. One day he'll say, why don't you come on the podcast? And you will. And he was on his podcast and he murdered it, and Joe had him on a second time. And it's just, Joe's one of those guys that he's just, he's unique the way all of us are unique, and he just wants to know that you and him are friends, and you're not using him to promote something.
I would never do that.
He's not that guy. He's in this business because he loves interesting people.
Man, I'm gonna eat one of your oranges off your tree, dude. You got a fucking orange tree.
Dude, where are you staying?
I'm staying at we're staying in Hollywood.
Okay.
A hotel.
At a house? A hotel?
Why?
I'll give you some chicken eggs.
Can I have some?
If you want some.
I want some chicken eggs because we got a stove. We got a stovetop. I want some chicken eggs. That's real organic. We're eating real chicken eggs. I went over to your chickens. They were like, it was hilarious because they looked at me like, we're good. They were like, who's this dude?
Those chicken eggs are ridiculous.
What? Are they orange?
They're so, and sometimes they come out with double yolks.
Can you give me some?
Yeah. I'll see. I'll check with Leanne. I think if you refrigerate them, you have to keep them refrigerated.
We got a refrigerator.
No, but are you going back to your hotel right now?
Well, if we have to, we got to put them back.
Yeah. All right. We'll get you some eggs.
I want some chicken eggs.
Hey, what dates you got to promote? Anything?
Oh, when are you releasing this?
Tonight, right?
Denver Improv next week.
Oh shit!
Yeah, baby. The 20th through the 24th, Denver Improv. Hold up, let me look at my other stuff, man, because I'm proud of you though, Bert. I'm glad that your podcast is doing really well.
No, man.
Chad Zumak, who is one of my good friends, he's a real friend. He's a good dude. He was like, yo, Bert, shit. I go, but I've known Bert a long time, man.
Very long.
People don't realize, when Zach Galifianakis saw me in the street, right? Zach is a superstar. And Zach,
big movie star.
Zach comes up to me and goes, Godfrey! And I give him a hug. All the comics that were younger, they were like, how the fuck do you know Zach Galifianakis? I go, you guys don't understand.
That's his club.
We all were rolling with each other. Everybody was around each other, from Sarah Silverman to Mark Maron we were all around each other, like legitimately around each other.
We were all poor people together.
Yeah. And some cats get to certain levels.
Sometimes you're Zach and sometimes you're Bert.
And then sometimes you're me, which I'm in between. I'm in between, man. I just need that thing. But see, it's guys like you. Listen, in this business, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Back in the day, the Johnny Carsons, all those guys, they all like kind of looked out for each other.
Yeah.
You got to do this because you can't win by yourself. And there's a lot of people I know that get to a certain position and don't want you to win with them. They're like, nah, I don't know this motherfucker. I'm gonna remember that shit. Just like I said for Tony Woods and certain people that owe Tony Woods a bunch of shit. Yo, let me tell you what.
What dates do we have coming up?
I got the Denver Improv. All right, the 20th next week. That's from Thursday to Sunday. That's like the 20th through the 24th.
Yeah.
When I get Denver Improv, and then after that, dude, you know what's so fucked up is I'm trying to look for my my skip. Okay, here we go. Watch this. Denver Improv, right? And we got guess what? Gotham Comedy Club. That's May 5th through the 7th. And I was going to do Pittsburgh Improv, but they're going to change my date. It was supposed to be in April, but they're changing my date. But the San Jose Improv, which is an awesome improv, that's May 18th through the 21st. Man.
Well, I think Matt Schuler's coming out.
You know what I'm saying? So Denver Improv coming up.
Awesome,
right?
man.
Denver Improv next week.
When you come back to LA, I'd love to have you back on the podcast.
No, I'm coming back.
Let's do it.
Let me have repeat because that's
whenever you want.
Dude,
it's an open invite. We have numbers.
All.
Well, just text me and let me know.
I will text you.
Fuck yeah.
I'll be like, yo, Bert, I'm here.
What's your Instagram? What's your Twitter?
My Instagram is Comedian Godfrey. My Twitter is Godfrey Comedian.
Oh.
My website, because I fucked up. That's why. That's all. I'm not trying to be cool. I want everything to be uniform.
Come on in.
My website is godfreycomedian.com.
Godfrey, this is Shane Moss.
Shane Moss. Yeah. What's happening? There's Kimberly. That's
Hi. Nice
What's up, Shane?
Come on in.
Where's Matt Schuler at?
Is Schuler out here? Schuler, come on in.
They're tall guys. I know.
All
that's right.
Schuler. We're wrapping this up right now. We are starting Shane Moss's documentary.
This is the guy that produced my damn hour special. Hey!
Shane on
There's Kimberly.
Shane on drugs.
Matt Schuler.
Matt Schuler's
Patriots
here.
fan. Oh, I'm glad you're not wearing a Brady jersey. Oh, Lord.
I couldn't do it. I'd get beat up.
All right, Godfrey, you know I love you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, dude. This was fucking awesome. Chad Zumach, thanks for suggesting that I come on your show.
Oh, fuck yeah.
But I earned this shit. I'm your friend for life, buddy.
You liked me when I was poor and still poor.
Yeah. And I met your dogs and your chickens. I'm about to get some fucking... I just ate orange off your tree. I'm about to get some eggs.
Fuck yeah.
Boom.
See if my wife's got any eggs left. She's 46. All right.
Oh, I should not let you go with that bullshit-ass joke. But go ahead.
This episode was brought to you by The Machine.